Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Sunday, May 23rd, 2021. This is your award-winning Gibbo Nation Media Assassination episode 1349.
This is No Agenda.
Celebrating Europe and broadcasting live from Opportunity Zone 33 here in the frontier of Austin, Texas, capital of the Drone Star State. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where flying saucers are unidentified, I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Well, it happened again yesterday, John. My favorite event of the year. It's the big one. It's the one I live for. The one that I almost hosted this year.
Your birthday.
The Eurovision Song Contest finals were last night. Yes. And the winner in a crazy horse race finish between Switzerland and France. At the very last moment, Italy won with a throwback band from the 70s with leather bell-bottom pants and everything. Måneskin with Zitti I Buoni. I'll just let you hear a little bit of how much ass they were kicking on stage. Anyway, so they won. But holy...
Like a bad ZZ Top.
So I watched the whole show, and there was a number of things I need to talk about, because this, of course, is a New World Order globalist program. Remember, it is the Eurovision Song Contest.
Okay, so stop. I have to ask a bunch of questions. I know nothing about this, so let me ask you some questions.
Yeah, sure. Exactly. We don't do this every year. I love it. Ask some questions.
So Eurovision.
Yes.
The word Euro.
Yes, correct. Yes.
Now, does that mean it's in the Eurozone referring to the currency?
Well, John, this is very interesting because Europe, as everyone is addressing it last night, Europe includes Israel, Azerbaijan, includes Malta, maybe Malta.
Well, Malta's
part
I
can
of see.
Yeah, you can see that too. But it's always Israel is always the strange one. Azerbaijan, like come on, Australia.
Maybe wait. I think I'm figuring it out. So this refers to countries that use the euro in some trading sense. Maybe they trade it or they exchange euros for shekels.
No, this goes back to, it must be 60 years now. The European Broadcasting Union, which you could join as a non-European member. So it's a club and they share some satellite resources. A lot of it is basically countries that have a public broadcast system. So these shows are produced by with government money.
I thought this was a commercial enterprise.
No. This is all government money.
So this is like PBS doing a music festival.
Yes, with a pledge drive and a tote bag.
All in the Red River Valley or something, right. And John Tesh would be the host.
So here's how it works. I think they had 37 countries. That all entered, and they go through their national... There's a whole thing. Every country goes to their national awards, and then the winner of that goes to the finals.
Okay, now, wait.
Mm-hmm.
I still have more questions.
Yeah,
so
sure.
This happens every 4 years?
No, it's every year.
Like the Olympics or maybe the World Cup, every 4 years they do this?
No, it's every year.
Well, then what's the point?
What do you mean, what's the point?
Aren't these sorts of events supposed to be every 4 years? It's a big deal. Do them when we have the Olympics every year or the World Cup every year. It doesn't make sense.
Well, I can't help you with that. We're all very happy with the yearly occurrence.
Okay, and continue.
Now, okay, so the way they do the voting is you have professional judges in each country. And so, of course...
What constitutes in the public broadcasting sense of the word a professional judge?
Typically a musician who had a big hit in the 60s or 70s, maybe in the 80s, who now sits on the board of some performing rights organization.
Yeah. What makes that? I want to ask you this. This is a serious question in this part. What makes that person a professional judge?
I have no answer for you. I'm just telling you what it is. Of course, that person is not this is all subjective.
Why don't they call it something else then? Just like judge.
Well, that's a good question.
Random judge.
I think it's to make it look more important. However, that has changed in the past 5 years, And the way it works is you give out points 1 through 8, and then there's a 10-point and a 12-point. And God knows why this is, but it's historic. So there's no 7. I think there's no 7, there's no 9, but there's a 10 and a 12. And the big thing is the 12 points. Which country do we give our 12 points to? And this obviously in the past was very political. You'd see East Bloc countries giving, stuff to their neighbors and then giving 0 to Russia. The Dutch always giving the Belgians some, the Belgians giving the Dutch, the French not giving the Belgians any, that kind of stuff. So now they changed it. So now that's only half of the score. And now the audience can call in and vote or vote on that Eurovision app. And their score is 50% of the final score. And so this sort of a gimmick is what ended up getting Bodie McBoatface, the winner of the contest in England to name a new ship. That's why this show is so fantastic. Everything about it is wrong. Now, it was produced in Rotterdam. So the Netherlands won 2 years ago. Of course, they had to skip a year. And I was obviously a favorite to host the show this year. But they went in a different direction, and they chose 4 hosts.
Hold on, back off.
Mm-hmm.
So you were... I recall something about you hosting the show.
Yeah, I'm perfect for it. I speak Dutch, I speak English, I'm handsome, I have Tourette's. I mean, I'm all in for these European events.
Yeah.
I'd be blinking my eyes.
You'd wear a dress if they told you to.
If they asked me to, no problem.
Yeah.
But they chose hosts who could sing. And I was very proud of it.
You can sing?
Yeah. And I could have accompanied myself on the theremin. I mean, I don't understand why they lost out. Yeah. So it was Edzilla and Chantal and Jan, and then this new girl who I guess came from Instagram or something. I didn't know her. Now, the show itself was...
TikTok star.
The show itself, the production, a 10. An absolute 10. Whatever money this cost, it was all on the screen. It was slick. They had... fantastic graphics package. The sound was great. Of course, it's usually it's only the singers, not the bands aren't playing themselves.
What was Taylor Swift there?
No, there were no celebrities in the past. They brought Madonna on and done shit like that, which no one cared about. And the first 10 songs, I thought were pretty darn good. All of them had a hook, in one form or the other. It wasn't your typical kind of bubblegummy, shitty pop Euro trash song. Some of them were, later on it got a little worse, but in general, I was quite impressed with that. But here's the problem. In the United Kingdom, they've only, I think the last time they won was Brotherhood of Man, Kisses for Me in 1976. And Ireland has won since then. I think Scotland has won. And the UK is famous for not winning. And it's such a joke in the UK that for many years, now the way this is produced, by the way, is kind of like it is an international event. So there's no voiceover during the transition between the acts. They have a cool little trailer showing who's coming up next and what country they're from. And then all the correspondents do their voiceovers for the TV shows back home. And this Radio 2 DJ named Terry Wogan, who later became Sir Terry Wogan, he started to drink and do the commentary for the BBC. And it became a cult thing. And he would just be ragging on it and with his dry humor. And Britain would always lose because they always sent something that sucked. And he passed away, and then Graham Norton took over, and he did a fantastic job. And if you recall, a few years back, there was some streaming outfit on Pluto TV or whatever that had like 4 gay guys doing commentary for the U.S., and it was fantastic. It was they were campy, exactly what you need to do with this type of broadcast. Well, that's no more because Peacock bought the rights. They geo-blocked everything, the YouTube feed, every feed you could find from this thing was geo-blocked, and you could only get it on Peacock. And they just aired it without any commentary. They completely screwed the pooch. They lost an incredible opportunity to get themselves on the map with something that people would talk about. It would be funny. They ruined it.
Well, it's like a Shaggy Dog story you just told me.
Well, I'm not quite done yet.
Oh, no.
So next year, the Keeper and I are going to do the voiceover since Peacock will not provide it, and we will synchronize that on No Agenda Stream.
You'll be geo-blocked.
No, what do you mean? I can watch it on Peacock, and we can just talk about it on No Agenda Stream, and people in Gitmo Nation can listen to our commentary.
Okay, I'm in on that. Now, I don't want to be in on it. I mean, I want you to do that. I think it'd be great.
Okay, so here's the kicker.
Sued.
Here's the kicker.
That's the kicker. I just told you the kicker.
Fine.
Go on.
Oh, I'm so worried about doing something fun. I can provide if Leo can provide commentary on Apple unboxing. We can do this for Peacock.
Oh, interesting point.
Yeah, thank you. I won't take legal advice from you. So they did all of the professional jury judges' votes, and you had France at the top. You had Switzerland, and Italy jumped in later when they got just a crap load of the votes from the public. So when they started this off, and the UK had 0 points from the professional judges. So no country had given the UK any points. And mind you, Europe. So this is Brexit time. And here's how the votes came in for the UK from the public.
We start with the country that has received the lowest number of points from the professional juries, and that is the United Kingdom. And we will go up country by country until we reach Switzerland, which is now in the lead with the most points given by the juries. Let's find out the winner of the Eurovision Song Contest 2021.
By the way, 5,000 people, no mask, no social distancing, nothing mentioned, no vaccine crap, none of it. And the Ahoy, it was packed. It was just shoulder to shoulder.
And as we've just explained, we will begin with the country that is now in last place. That is United Kingdom. And the United Kingdom gets from the public 0 points.
This guy, he stands up. Now listen to the crowd. The crowd is loving him. Now they're like cheering him on.
We move on to...
This makes zero... What a scam.
0 point. Well, of course, no one in Europe is going to vote for England. Like, screw you. You went out.
I don't believe for a minute that not one single person, this is a public vote.
Well, hold on.
Statistically makes any sense.
No, hold on. It's not like you get a million votes. It's points. So they take all the votes and then they divide them by whatever they have, and then you come up with how many points. And I think the max is like 300 or 400 or something. So, of course, they received some votes, but it turned into 0 points. And the lowest 4 countries, including the Netherlands, also got zero votes. And I'll tell you, the Netherlands, who got 13 points, they were third to last. Their entrant was some black group. The guy he didn't even look Indonesian or remotely one of the islands, and he was singing like a Black Lives Matter song about the slaves. It's no wonder you got no votes. Sing a happy song. It's almost like. Oh, yes, a virtue signal. We'll send these guys to the song festival to represent Holland, a country of water and flowers and cheese and wooden shoes and dikes. Black Lives Matter.
Well, that was a poor idea.
I'll say. Anyway. And that was my report. That's all I got. But I did find it very important to mention this.
Yeah,
because we follow it. I
see that.
We follow it. And now I have a gripe.
Uh-oh.
I cannot believe between the two of us, between any people who can reach out to us, trolls, etc., that no one came up with the show title Scratch and Vax.
Sorry, what?
Scratch and Vax.
Scratch and Vax.
In New York City, the governor announced lottery scratch tickets for people who are vaccinated with a $5 million top prize.
Everybody wins. You have a 1 in 9 chance of winning the lottery, but you get the vaccine and you win.
And vaccinated people in Maryland now have a chance to win $40,000 every day for 40 days with a grand prize of $400,000.
Go out and get vaccinated for your chance to win a share of this $2 million. So remember, Maryland, go get your shot for a shot to win.
In West Virginia, people 16 to 35 who get the shot can now register for a $100 savings bond or gift card.
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. America is a great country.
Well, I've got a clip that even, I think, tops them, maybe not. Try this one. Vaccination incentives in Georgia.
Ooh, okay. What's going on there?
Judges in 2 Georgia counties are offering some defendants reduced community service hours in exchange for getting the COVID-19 vaccine. From member station WABE, Christopher Alston has more.
Judges in Georgia's Northeastern Judicial Circuit are offering some people sentenced to community service the option of reducing that time with proof of vaccination. Court Administrator Jason Stevenson says judges decide on a case-by-case basis when to offer this option and how many hours can be earned.
All our judges agree that every shot in the arm is a service to the community, and there's time involved in going to a vaccine site, lining up transportation, perhaps childcare, taking time off of work.
Stevenson says the county has not tracked how many defendants have taken the deal. According to the CDC, Dawson and Hall counties lag behind the state average for first doses administered.
Well, I'm going to give it to you. It's early in the show, but...
Clip of the day. Well, the thing is, so
that's crazy.
So they've decided that
that's crazy.
A shot in the arm is
community service. Oh, wow. Yeah. That is so good.
If you listen to that carefully, I have one more. There's another COVID. Now, so everyone's starting to virtue signal about this. The ones you played include about 3 or 4 or 5 states. Mm-hmm. Here's a NPR clip. This is COVID incentives. It's gotten so bad that this is pure virtue signaling, as you're hearing this report about Colorado. They don't even know what they're going to do. They're just saying, hey, we're going to do it too.
Colorado, you could soon cash in by getting a COVID-19 vaccine. Right now, Fox 31 is first with new details about a lottery drawing the state will soon offer, hoping more people will roll up their sleeves for a shot. And it's not chump change, but the chance for you to win a whopping $1 million.
$1 million would be great. It really would be.
Amy, who's hanging at the park with her nursing pals, is already fully vaccinated, along with about 42% of the state's population. That means 58%, or some 3.3 million other people, are not. The state is hoping money makes them change their mind.
Everybody loves incentives.
BOGO!
Right? That's a big one.
And it's not just $1 million. The state is set to offer a few $1,000 drawings as well. Fox 31 is told after the official announcement, people who get vaccinated will be able to sign up, along with people who have already gotten their shots. The state is still working on the specifics, but it's looking at other states that have done the same, including Ohio and its Vax-A-Million lottery.
What motivated me to actually push through and come through is the $1 million prize.
He's not alone. The Buckeye State says vaccine demand is up more than 50% since it announced $5 million in prize money. That cash is coming from federal COVID-19 grants. Colorado has not said where it's getting the money from, but it's likely the same source, all with the goal to get more people protected from COVID.
You know, this is a unique opportunity. This is unique. We can do all kinds of fun stuff. We can shame celebrities. Hey, Richard Branson. Hey, Elon, you need to give up a seat to Mars for the vax, man. Come on. What are you? You against it? You an anti-vaxxer?
Actually, what you just suggested is incredibly subversive and a great idea.
Thank you. We can think of a few more people, I think, can't we?
Oh, no, if the two of us, or two of us, just let the troll room take over and start suggesting things.
Hey, LeBron.
We'd have hundreds and hundreds.
LeBron, you need to give me a personal basketball lesson, man. What are you? You an anti-vaxxer or something? You don't want to participate? It's for a good cause, man. Did you know it's community service?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It would be a great idea.
Oh, yeah. This is...
Well, right now we're at the
good.
first stages of this. And we take these clips and think about what's going on. Every state is going to end up pulling this stunt.
And what's interesting is it's based on a lie. one of our producers sent us a chart because, it's based on Ohio's incredible success. And Ohio said, oh my God, it's working. Vaccinations are going up. Well, someone split out the vaccination starts by age, and you'll see this where this spike comes from. The spike comes from children being vaccinated, while all the other age groups are halved from where they were before. The incredible lottery idea that's working so well. So it
50. By the way, let's make sure we make it clear. You're getting vaccinated for a 50-cent lottery ticket.
Yes, scratch off, no less.
Scratch
off is it's so cool. But I just don't think that the numbers are really there. I think that they're, people. I'm sure people show up, but I'm just not seeing it in the numbers. I'm seeing.
Well, when you have the guys, if
kids.
You listen to these guys in that one clip where they, so like a man on the street, they stick a mic in somebody's face, and you have some guy who just sounds like the dumbest guy in the world. Yeah, I'm going to get the vaccine because I can win $1 million.
Everybody loves incentives.
Oh.
Everybody loves a good deal. Hey, why shouldn't they be doing this on Home Shopping Channel? Oh, man, there's so many cool things we can do. And then the White House, not to be underplayed or anything, they came out with a partnership. Not just one partnership, a partnership of across the board.
Biden administration now joining the dating game in the name of public health. Its COVID vaccine outreach now includes enlisting dating apps and offering incentives to users who are vaccinated. Here's a mock-up right here of what that will look like on popular dating sites like Tinder and Hinge. Daters get access to premium content and can filter potential matches by vaccination status.
Woo!
You can even book a vaccine appointment through the apps.
Oh, my goodness.
They could call it got a shot, get a shot.
We're on a roll today.
Dating sites like Bumble, Tinder, Hinge, Match, OkCupid, BLK, Chispa, Plenty of Fish, and Badoo are announcing a series of features to encourage vaccinations and help people.
Now, what did I miss in that list?
Grindr.
Yes. Well, homophobic.
What do they hate gays?
They hate gays over there. That's right.
With that help people.
How did you know that, by the way?
That they hate gays?
No, about Grindr. You picked up on it.
Oh, geez. I'm living in the San Francisco Bay Area. I've never heard of Grindr.
And help people with that help people meet people who have that universally attractive quality. They've been vaccinated against COVID-19.
Oh,
we have finally found
the universal attractive quality. This is the urge to merge, baby.
Found the one thing that makes us all more attractive: a vaccination.
Car and Immersion. Jonathan Martin still with me. My favorite part is Dr. Fauci doing this while Andy's trying to
listen to these jamokes.
Not since Trump last year has Fauci been so chagrined.
According to research from OkCupid, people who are vaccinated or plan to get vaccinated receive 14% more matches than people who don't plan to get vaccinated.
Wow, we are insane. But what I liked even more than this was a report about the dating apps that included an old friend of ours, Molly Wood. Because, of course, when it comes to dating and vaccines, she's your gal.
We'll talk instead about what's going on, sort of socially speaking, with the vaccination effort across the country. About 60% of the adult population has received at least one COVID-19 vaccination right now, but the White House wants to get to 70%. And so the Biden administration is coming up with all kinds of incentives, or even turning to dating apps. They have teamed up with 9 of the largest dating sites, from Match to Bumble, to offer badges disclosing people's vaccination status and other perks. So that if you've gotten your shot, Molly, I guess on a dating app, I can see why people would want to know that.
I think this is absolutely genius. This suggests that there are young people in the Biden administration who fundamentally understand the key driver of this particular demographic, which is FOMO, fear of missing out on hooking up with someone after maybe a year and some change inside. I think is an absolutely genius move as an incentive to get vaccinated.
Morgan?
What does that mean?
It's great. Okay, you're vaccinated against one disease. Like, what other diseases are there when we're talking about dating? That's all I'm going to say about that.
Oh, my goodness. What they should just keep the slogan that Boris Johnson put in place. Jabs for jobs. You can put that on the dating apps too. Fantastic.
This is pathetic.
It's very, yes. Last night we went out to dinner with a former New York banker and his wife. I'd never been to this place, a fantastic sushi restaurant on South Congress. I forget the name. We went through the back door, which is how you get into it. It's kind of a weird place, but really, really amazingly good. And I said it. And we went in, and the millennial girl behind the counter where you check in had no mask. And we're like, oh, so no mask? And we take our masks off right away. She's like, no, vaccinated mask, whatever, something. But she's okay. Now, I talked to Tina about it this morning. I felt she really didn't even want to deal with the question. But it was, come on in, done. Everyone, no mask. Half of the wait staff had no mask in Austin. So they're losing. They're losing out on this idea that we're going to have people show proof that you're vaccinated or people are worried about you, which is a good thing to see, particularly in Austin.
This is not just there. This seems to be going on everywhere.
I agree.
And I think this is all part of the backtracking. I have some backtracking clips.
Ooh.
We have
Fauci backtracking.
The Rutgers protests, which are underreported in the mainstream, but they're still happening. I probably have some clips here.
Yeah.
Rutgers vaccine policy.
So a lot of universities in the U.S. are requiring that their students get vaccinated against COVID if they want to attend this year. Rutgers was the first to do it, and we're here right in front of the school, but behind me you'll see parents, organizers, and students protesting that requirement. They showed up in the hundreds. In a nutshell, everyone told us they want students to have a choice of hitting the books without getting the shot. So Rutgers says they're doing this because they want to keep students safe, and as we all know, you can spread the virus, so why not comply with their policy if their mission or their aim is to keep
science
people safe?
Yes, we totally understand it's people their aim to keep the Rutgers community safe, but at the end of the day, what we put into our bodies and what vaccines we take, what medicines we take, that's your own personal choice. Nobody can force you to do that. The government sure can't do that, so a public university can't do that.
Because I love Rutgers as a university, but
nice.
I'm not going to be able to attend if I don't want to get the vaccine and they're mandating it for me, unfortunately.
New Jersey schools can legally require their students to get vaccinated, and students can apply for religious or medical exemptions. But these protesters raised another issue. The 3 available COVID vaccines are experimental, not yet fully approved by the FDA.
The pharmaceutical manufacturers have zero liability, so if you are now forcing your student population to take an experimental vaccine to continue their education, are you as the university assuming liability for any death or injury that results in that?
We asked Rutgers if they would consider changing their policy, but they doubled down, saying the university's position on vaccines is consistent with the legal authority supporting this policy.
Now, this could not have been on any M5M station. Where'd you get this from?
NTD, New Tang Dynasty.
Yeah. Okay, that explains it. No way would that air.
No, of course not.
Related to that, OSHA, which is the Office of Security and you know the workplace people. OSHA. What is it again? The Office of something and Shipping and Handling.
I'm not going to define it anymore. Watching you struggle through it's just like a gag. It's like a shtick.
Well, here's they've revised their thought pattern, their thoughts on employers being liable if an employer makes you wear a mask or makes you get a shot to work. OSHA, as well as other federal agencies, are working diligently to encourage COVID-19 vaccinations, blah, blah, blah. OSHA does not wish to have any appearance of discouraging workers from receiving COVID-19 vaccination and also does not wish to disincentivize employers' vaccination efforts. As a result, OSHA will not enforce 29 CFR 1904's recording requirements to require any employers to record worker side effects from COVID-19 vaccination through May 2022. We will reevaluate the agency's position at the time to determine the best course of action moving forward.
Yeah, I got into a discussion with Eric about this, who was raving his arms about
that must have been fun.
Well, I tried to explain to him what he said that they backed off because they're, either corrupt or there's some other thing going on. I said, no, these bureaucrats are smart, and they say it's smart insofar as they don't want to do a lot of work.
Yeah.
Somebody in the office said, why are we taking reports on
Yes.
every cold and flu and
Give it to
COVID?
homicide downtown. We don't want those cases.
It's not our business.
Give it to the VAERS guys. We don't want to. CDC, FDA, anybody but us. I think you're right. Yeah.
Who needs to be swamped? Because somebody has a clue and knew that this is being underreported at least via the media. But when you start looking into it, all you get is people with,
problems.
Hey, not everybody.
Was that tongue picture?
I talking to a friend of mine the other day. I got 2 shots, not that I even get a sore arm.
Was that tongue picture in the newsletter? Was that for real?
Yes.
How do you know? You don't know if that was real?
No. Okay. You're not the first person. Jay, my daughter. Now, this is a family affair now. Everyone's critiquing me. Said, that's bull crap. And I said, what do you mean it's bull crap? It's a known phenomenon. It's if you do some research, and Eric's the one who discovered that tongue. And it was like, and he did a bunch of actual work looking into it, and it's more common than you'd think but you can't tell if it's from COVID or from the shot.
But do you choke? I mean, how can your tongue be that thick?
You have to have an operation to have it reduced.
What? It doesn't go away?
No, it seems that it doesn't go away.
Oh my goodness!
And it's got a name. If you read there's a link. If you click on the picture, it takes you to an article about it.
It's got a name. I'm sure it does. Effed up. I have effed up syndrome. That's not good, man. That's not good. Holy crap.
Back on the track. I got 3 clips to play here that bring us back to this backtracking thing, which I think is going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think everyone's got the memo on the backtrack, and that's why we're getting all these mixed messages. Oh, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do this. Tried this one, COVID EU. Now, this is the EU is now kind of unrestricted travel to Europe, and this is the EU America travel clip.
EU ambassadors recommended this week that their countries allow travelers from the U.S. without having to quarantine, so long as there's some kind of COVID passport and testing requirement. As for EU citizens who may be eager to visit the U.S.,
we certainly understand the desire of many Europeans to come travel to the United States and vice versa.
White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki.
We can't respond to public pressure or even emotion. We have to rely on the guidance of our health and medical experts.
Well, we have such an expert with us, Dr. Ezekiel Emanuel. He heads the Department of Medical Ethics and Health Policy at the University of Pennsylvania. Thanks so much for being with us.
Good to be with you, Scott.
More than 60% of U.S. adults have had at least one dose of a COVID vaccine. Is there a percentage you have in mind?
By the way, stop the thing for a second. I don't know if anyone else can or maybe visualize this, but this guy talks with a bow tie. I mean, you just hear the bow tie.
And why? Why is it? That's Hotez is another bow tie guy.
I know.
And by the way, Tucker Carlson used to be that too.
And that lesbian that was the head of the University of California Public Health School, she wears a bow tie.
Well, that says enough.
To be with you, Scott.
More than 60% of U.S. adults have had at least one dose of a COVID vaccine. Is there a percentage you have in mind, a percentage of people who have been vaccinated that would allow the United States and, for that matter, the European Union to begin to relax some of these requirements?
First of all, allowing travel of vaccinated people and people who test negative is relaxing requirements with no quarantine, and we should celebrate that. That is a great achievement.
I just want to say something about the European, because I've followed this very, very closely in multiple languages, and it's very evil what is going on, because you can read headline after headline. Vaccine passport will be required. Vaccine passports this summer. Vaccine passports for your vaccine passports. And in every article, it says, or proof of a negative test. You got to go down 500 words. And in the EU, they are even pledging 100 million euros to set aside to purchase COVID tests compatible for their passport. So the way they're playing this is, oh, yeah, you definitely want to get a vaccine. You get the passport, easy to go. And so you're just obfuscating that you don't need it.
Well, the joke of it is, when you get some of these clips, I don't know if I have one in this collection. I know it's not in the next two clips. They're saying you have to have the passport, but you still have to take the test.
Now, since you took us to passport, there is a ruckus going on over the National Health System passport.
Let me get these two clips out of the way because it's not the passport that's the point I'm trying to make. I'm trying to talk about backtracking.
I got you. Okay.
So I want you to part two of this clip. The same guy goes on about herd immunity because they started asking, "What's herd immunity?"
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, well, we've heard so much about what herd immunity is supposed to be, and then Fauci, blah blah blah, herd immunity. Let's hear what this guy's got to say about herd immunity. This is the second part of this clip. This is COVID EU America herd immunity.
As you progress from about 40% of the population vaccinated on up, you get dropping cases, dropping deaths, dropping hospitalizations. And we don't know what the herd immunity or whatever threshold is that brings us down to sort of...
Wait a minute. Is this guy a doctor?
He's a public health guy, and I think he's also a doctor, and he's a professor.
And he said... What herd immunity, whatever the measure, blah, blah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this is what we're going to start hearing.
What?
And we don't know what the herd immunity or...
and what is this big... What is the big pause? Is that to emphasize that it's a conspiracy theory? You saw it, so I'd have to see the video.
That's interesting.
Sounds like he's going, herd immunity. You know what I mean?
I think you might be onto something there.
Or maybe did he do air quotes? It sounds like let's do it with air quotes.
Radio, public NPR.
Let's do air quotes for ourselves. Here we go.
And we don't know what the herd immunity or whatever,
or whatever. Yes, perfect.
Threshold is that brings us down to sort of flu-like deaths. About 100 to 150 deaths a day is, I think, the flu-like level we're aiming at, or we should be aiming at. We don't know how much vaccination that's going to require.
Oh man, what a dick!
So we got this expert from NPR. Then we cut to this clip, another one. This is in a different segment, but this is COVID Fauci backtracking.
Dr. Anthony Fauci says it's possible the coronavirus pandemic as we know it could end in the next month or so in the U.S. As NPR's James Jones reports, Fauci said that something close to normalcy will return once an overwhelming portion of the population has been vaccinated or had the virus.
Fauci says the U.S. is making steady progress toward reaching a level of vaccination that will dramatically reduce new infections. In comments made on ABC, he cautioned the public and health officials should not fixate on reaching some specific tipping point.
Rather than focus on what that number, what that percentage is, just keep going and getting as many people vaccinated as you can, and then you will see that number of cases per day will go down to a very low level.
Oh, man. Do you have more backtrack? Because I got Fauci backtrack, too.
No, you can take it, but the thing to me is that this is the guy who is all these... asserted 80% vaccination. We're never going to get to herd immunity. On and on and on with all these numbers. And now, hey, you don't need it. You don't need any numbers.
I think this is leading to something. They do have a plan. And this Good Morning America interview, I believe, reveals some of that. This is, who was talking to him? Whit Johnson. And, the obvious question is first.
Where do we need to be before we can declare an end to this pandemic? And how soon do you think we can get there?
Well, hopefully in the next month or so, we'll get there. The goal of President Biden is to...
the next month or so. Is that scientific? I'm so tired of him doing that.
You know what? All this is starting to remind me of? My old story about when I worked at the refinery and I screwed up some test.
Yeah, tell the story again.
Yeah, there was a test for I forgot what it was, sulfur and crude or something. I don't remember what it was, but I had done the calculation wrong and I was off by a factor of 10.
Oops.
And so I was way up on the numbers, and everyone went into a huge panic, and they brought in people to bring the numbers down at one of the units that had this problem. And I realized, went back and said, oh, geez, I made a mistake. But instead of just saying I made a mistake
here it comes.
It's fine.
Here comes your government training. What did you do?
I backed off the tests. They sent sample in, so I sent a sample back, knocked it down 20%. They sent a sample in, I sent it back, knocked it down 40%.
Another 20.
Another 20. So I had it within about 3 hours of this
good job,
panic.
guys.
I had the number back to normal, to what it should have been, which it actually was all along.
Now,
and that's what I keep thinking they're doing here, which is that there is no, that this pandemic is over. That there is no, now we got flu crossover. So people, if they're in the hospital, they probably have the flu because we have no cases of the flu, supposedly.
Well, let me ask you a question about this. What year was this when this happened?
In the 70s.
Yeah, I knew it. That sulfur mix-up, that's what triggered global warming. I'm confident of this.
Well, they tightened their process down so much, they were actually dropping the numbers to the way down there, which is probably unnecessary. But yeah. I every time I see something like this where they're saying one thing 1 minute and then it suddenly stops and they can't just say it stopped or we're over it. They just can't do that. They can't bring themselves to saying they were wrong.
I think there's a reason. And I'm going to take these 3 clips, just short all together. I think it's an obvious outcome what they're heading for because they can't stop the train. The masks are coming off. What we've done just give away the taxpayers' money to and that's by the way, that some guy at Pfizer came up with this. We know that, right? We know that Pfizer came up with
the lotteries.
This. Oh yeah, come on. Do you think the Ohio governor is that smart? No.
That's a good point.
No,
I have no idea.
And regardless,
but you're probably right. Some Pfizer guy, they got some guys over there that are just frightening.
Oh, but now consultants are in every state. I got an idea. Hey man, why don't we do this? Skydiving, free.
Free skydiving.
All right, let's get back to Fauci. It's 2 months, whatever.
Well, hopefully in the next month or so, we'll get there. The goal of President Biden is to get 70% of the adult population vaccinated with at least 1 dose by the 4th of July. I believe that's an attainable goal. And as we know, of course, we're seeing it in real time. The more people that get vaccinated, the larger degree of diminution of daily cases.
Big word.
Which we're already seeing. The cases right now are the lowest they've been in quite a while. But we still have a ways to go. We really want to get more than 70% of the population vaccinated. The goal is by July 4th, but we want to even surpass that.
Now I don't understand. So 70% is the goal, but we want to get more. We want to get more. Does he think that he's a cheerleader and people are excited about winning this race that he's come up with?
Because we know when we do get to that point of the overwhelming proportion of the population vaccinated, you're going to see an even greater decline to the point where the cases on a daily basis are not of any concern, and we could really start getting back to the normality that we all crave.
Okay, but when does herd immunity kick in?
And just to clarify, when you said maybe in the next month or so we'll get there, are you saying end of pandemic or something closer to herd immunity?
Well, again, we don't know what the exact trigger point of the number or the percentage of people who are both vaccinated.
Hold on a second. We don't know the exact number of the people of the percentage point. What did he say?
A trigger point of the...
Let me get back to that.
Well, again, we don't know what the exact trigger point of the number or the percentage of people who are both vaccinated and or recovered from infection and thereby protected.
Okay.
Because we don't have that long experience with this particular virus.
Oh, wait a minute. So we don't know how long the antibodies last, even though people have had it for over a year. Seems like some people would last at least a year. I've heard even longer.
Whereas with viruses like measles, we know really exactly what that number is because of decades and decades of experience. So rather than focus on what that number, what that percentage is, just keep going and getting as many people vaccinated as you can. And then you will see that number of cases per day will go down to a very low level.
Yeah, so herd immunity is being, he just wipes it away. No. We don't know how that works. We don't know. I heard him very clearly say that can be 50%, 60% in the past, of course.
He's also said 80.
Yeah, he says all kinds of stuff.
He's all over the map, this guy.
Well, he has a target, and the target is obvious.
Just to switch gears here, hoping you can give us a reality check on booster shots. Both Pfizer and Moderna this week said that some people might need booster shots as early as this fall. How likely is that?
You know, we don't know the answer to that. I mean, the reason they're saying that is because we are all preparing for the possibility or the eventuality.
Preparing for the possibility, eventuality that maybe someday, it's in the cards, Fauci.
That we may need to boost people to keep the level of protection, which we know right now is very, very good. In the real world, the protection and the effectiveness is extraordinary. We don't know how long it will be until that level of protection diminishes low enough that you'd want to boost. I mean, some could say, well, it's 8 months, a year and a half. We don't know. And I think the confusion is when people say we may need to give a boost in 6 months or so. That's purely a conjecture.
He's the one doing it.
Does this guy have an agent with William Morris? Why is he on everything?
That was ABC. Right to CBS. And the answer is yes. His agent is Phil Pfizer.
Tonight, a COVID vaccine booster could be necessary by fall for people who are already fully vaccinated.
So every single report begins like that with, oh my God, might have to have a booster. And then Fauci comes in and does, maybe percentage point of people, something, month or two. So that's his entire job now, is to soften the blow.
I believe in 1 2 months we will have enough data to speak about it with much...
That's the Pfizer CEO.
Higher scientific certainty.
Dr. Anthony Fauci says the vaccines are effective for at least 6 months, likely more, but boosters will probably be needed.
It's really going to depend on following what the durability of immunity is.
The durability of immunity.
And essentially recommending it at an appropriate time.
The first dose of Pfizer's vaccine in the U.S. was administered 5 months ago to a critical care nurse from New York. This comes as states scramble to get the first dose into arms.
We have the Moderna vaccine.
In Philadelphia, where demand has slowed, the city is going to the community.
I feel safe now.
Today, there was a twofer.
I hadn't realized. The city is going to the community. You know what the community means, don't you? That's white liberals speak for black people. Yeah, and they bring in a black guy.
Slowed. The city.
I feel safe now.
Listen to this. This is so racist.
In Philadelphia, where demand has slowed, the city is going to the community.
I feel safe now.
Today, there was a...
All right. Do we have black people covered in this report? Yeah, check. We got it. We're good to go.
Twofer on offer. A shot and a free meal.
We're just not going to get back to normal unless we take care of the folks who, may be homeless or struggling with poverty.
Yeah, that's next. Hey, Austin, great idea. Go to the tents and jab everybody. Jab for camping. A jab for camp. NBC News.
As the U.S. races to reach the hesitant, closing in on the goal to partially...
Wow, I'm hearing these again. As the U.S. races... Wait.
As the U.S. races to reach the hesitant...
To reach the hesitant. What kind of reporting is this?
Oh, that's Almaguer.
To reach...
With that crazy presentation style he has.
To reach the hesitant.
Race to reach the hesitant.
Yes. Oh, I like
it. Now, wait. Now, the hesitant are hesitant. They're not necessarily hesitant. They may just say no. If you just say no, does that mean you're hesitant?
You're hesitant, yes.
Doesn't hesitant mean you're
hesitant?
Like, well, maybe I'm going to do it. I'm going to start walking in that direction, but I'm not going to walk too fast. Isn't that hesitant as opposed to
no?
Hell no.
As the U.S. races to reach the hesitant, closing in on the goal to partially vaccinate 70% of all adults by July 4th, tonight we may be closer to knowing when the fully inoculated could need that booster shot.
There it is.
At all.
Booster.
The CEO of Pfizer saying perhaps as early as September for the frontline workers who received their shots back in December.
Oh, this is so great. I can't wait to ask everyone, did you get your booster? Did you get your booster?
Hold
Have
on
you been
a second.
boosted yet? Booster? Well, let me finish the clip. 15 seconds.
A timeline that could easily shift.
There will be a need for a booster somewhere between 8 and 12 months.
We should know within a month or two if a booster is needed. But because the vaccine rollout was staggered, there shouldn't be a wait or a problem getting one.
Okay. Now these guys are this is dubious. I think they're pushing it here with this idea of pre-promoting a booster.
They have the fucking CEO of Pfizer in every report. I mean, it's an ad. It's an ad.
It is an ad, but I see it as counterproductive. And from a marketing perspective, I think they may be screwing up.
Do tell.
So I'm hesitant. I'm not like a hell no guy. I'm just hesitant. I think I'm going to get to say, and then I'm going to start watching this and say, I'm going to need if I get the Pfizer, I'm going to need a booster.
Yeah.
Maybe Johnson & Johnson, I never heard that you don't need a booster with their shot or AstraZeneca. I don't know, does Moderna need a booster? I don't know. All I keep hearing is that Pfizer's going to need a booster. Oh, hell, I'm not going to get the Pfizer shot. That's the one that's they're pushing booster already. I haven't even gotten my shot. I'm not getting Pfizer.
That's a good idea. That's a good point.
I think it's a great point. Well, not to brag, but it's a point that Pfizer seems, I think this is a huge mistake they're making. The way it should be handled, if you're going to do this, if you're going to start promoting the boosters, you have to do it in the way they promoted the shot. Say, no, you don't need a booster. There's no way. Yeah, just get the shot. You'll be good to go forever. This is good. Lifetime guarantee. Then you go, oh my God, we didn't know. That's why it wasn't authorized. We don't know. We have to have the booster. This is the only way otherwise you're going to die.
Yeah.
But no, they're blowing it. This is stupid.
And it's weird because they have such an incredible share of mind lead. I was reading this article from the CBC. Vaccine shopping to avoid Moderna shot is alarming, unnecessary, and potentially harmful, doctors say. And when people view these as vehicles, it's like Beamer, Benz, Bentley. So the Beamer is Johnson & Johnson, the Benz is Moderna, and the Bentley is the Pfizer. And so people are shopping around to make sure they get the Pfizer.
That's a planted story for this exact reason you just described.
Of course.
There's probably little to no difference between the Moderna and the Pfizer vaccines. They're based on the same technology platform. It's pretty much the same. There's just the ingredients are a little different.
Except Moderna is relatively new, and Pfizer has a decades-long history of killing people with their shit.
They've been killing people a lot longer.
Pfizer has a better record right now. I mean, Moderna, they've got a much better record.
Well, Moderna, the other aspect, which doesn't get discussed at all because these shots are all free, quote unquote, but the government's paying $30. I'll bring it up again. The government's paying $30 a shot for the Moderna, $19.50 a shot for the Pfizer, and $10 a shot for the Johnson & Johnson, and you only need one.
Right. And
so the government should not be pushed around by Pfizer because it's costing the government $40 or almost $40 to vaccinate one person, where in the Johnson & Johnson's 10. They save this is a saving mechanism, is to push Johnson & Johnson, but they won't do it because because Pfizer's in their pocket, or they're in Pfizer's pocket. It's pathetic.
I want to give a special shout out to the marketing crew for Johnson & Johnson, also known as Janssen in the rest of the world. I think they do deserve at least some recognition for their slogan. Because Pfizer clearly had the upper hand. I think they have a better marketing team, more money. They have the technology, and Johnson & Johnson's slogan is "one and done." And I want to give them props for that because I do hear it more and more. One and done, baby. One and done. I got the Johnson & Johnson one and done. Which is a way for you to say, yeah, I took the cheap ass car, but you know what? I got the car already.
You still have two wheels. Counter programming to that.
Ooh, do tell.
It's a meme. Pfizer put the meme out. It'd be one and done with big letters across the two pictures. One, got the jab going in, and done, a gravestone.
I felt it coming. Now, I have a couple more things to do here. But breaking news. Sweden, and this is coming from the Swedish Health Department. It's a Google Translate of their website. Sweden stops using PCR tests as RNA from viruses can be detected for months after infection. And so they are no longer going to test people with PCR, which was never intended to be a test and is completely rigged and scammed and has been from day one, in our opinion.
And you can say that till you're blue in the face. Which you've done, by the way.
I'm not blue.
I think you should, and I'm not discouraging it.
No.
The PCR test is a piece of crap.
Now, okay, let me just stop for a second. This is why No Agenda is an important production. Because of our producers, it's not just Adam and John, but because of our producers who come from all walks of life. We have people in labs who explain PCR technology to us, how it works, what it was appropriate for, it wasn't, historical context. We have nurses, doctors, registered nurses, certified this, that we got dentists, anything you want, we have it out there, and they have been telling us, and from the beginning, we knew, well, this is what's fun, because now it's all starting to come out, and it won't be heralded as very much. And it's like, just like the mink, don't worry, the mink will finally understand that one day. The switch of the 2.5 million people are going to die chart, the mask on, mask off bull crap, the aerosol spread, which we had the dog on the show a year ago, which is now the reason we can take our masks off a year ago, the surfaces spread, all bull crap, we had all that. Etc., etc. This is why this is an important production. Because it's amazing how much truth we get to without even knowing, like bumbling like fools in the dark. And we still get to some pretty reasonable explanations as to what kind of crap has been happening. And now you see it coming out. And it's the same with the vaccination passport. Here's NBC News.
Just a few weeks till the great escape of 2021 gets underway, mostly on the honor system. It's highly unlikely you'll have to show your vaccine card in the U.S., though you will still need to wear a mask in airports, onboard planes, and inside stores that require them. Many hotels, not all, will let fully vaccinated people go maskless. So will many theme parks, including outdoors at Disney World, Universal Orlando, Hershey, SeaWorld, and Dollywood.
If your whole family is fully vaccinated, now is the time that you can start to move back towards normal.
While kids under 12 probably won't be vaccinated, experts say their risk is low. If you're visiting a national park, you can remove your mask if you're fully vaccinated. Keep it on if you're not vaccinated or you're indoors. If you travel abroad, you probably will have to show your vaccination card or a negative COVID test result. You'll need another negative test before flying home. Europe and the UK are opening slowly. Canada still closed. But beware, the State Department lists 80% of the world as level 4 do not travel. From Fiji to France, Argentina to Austria.
I would not go to the countries that are having major outbreaks. I wouldn't travel to India, to Nepal, to Brazil.
A busy vacation season, but safer stateside.
So the national health system, the pride and joy, save the NHS, lock down, save the NHS. Well, they're repaying the British public, the National Health Service system, and their COVID app received an upgrade. And unfortunately, some of the information it contains and or connects to leaked out from the Department of Health and Social Care. It was immediately put on the Wayback Machine. And it has caused quite a ruckus in the UK. So the COVID-19 app has been used to date in the UK for contact tracing. This new version was immediately blocked by Apple and Google over location tracking. So, they just do some very simple stuff. They don't necessarily look into what kind of information is being shared. And I'm sure coming from the NHS, they were good. But they did say, no, you can't be tracking people's location without their permission. But I would like to read to you a few bits of data from this article that was removed from the Department of Health and Social Care website.
But still on Wayback.
Still on the Wayback Machine. I will, here it is, the personal data we collect and how it is used. Okay, you ready? We'll go down this list. Stop me when you feel appropriate. Personal data, full name. They also have reasons why they ask for it, which is kind of fun. So if you stop me, I'll tell you the reason. Full name, date of birth, National Health Service number, home address, including postcode, other addresses, land and or mobile phone numbers, email address, vehicle registration number, national insurance number, employer details, occupation details, third-party contact details may be taken when they have been agreed to be contacted on behalf of other adults. And then they get into connecting to your doctor, your general practitioner, all that information. And then they have these categories for social behavior. Yep. Which there's no explanation exactly how that field will be filled. There's also sexuality. And this is, so people are outraged, of course.
Is it sexuality or gender?
No, I think it's orientation, I believe.
Okay.
You have 80 different choices. So people are up in arms, and I think that someone made a boo-boo on this one. That was not supposed to happen. And I think it will cause a massive backlash. So I'm not too worried about these passports now, but in the future, yeah, eventually they may just try you know what, we stopped the testing, so everyone has what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
Well, I argue against that this is going to happen with this particular...
but I'm on your side. I mean...
I'm on your side, too, when it comes to long-term. There was a desire by the New World Order, the One World Government, who knows, to have a universal identification system where they can track everybody in the world because they got the computing power to do it.
Yeah.
Kind of the IBM phenomenon in Germany during the Hitler, where they give everyone a number. And it might even result in a tattoo on your arm. This universal tracking
and a
mechanism.
matching star,
or a chip.
Yeah, could.
I mean, the hard sell to me, at least with the people that are currently alive, is the chip, because that's really where you want to head this toward.
Yeah, but the phone is fine for now.
The phone works. The phone works as it works. But the chip is the long-term goal, and to make the chip as a phone, make sure you can talk to your arm. I don't know how they're going to get from here to there, but that the chip is just got to happen because of the chipping your pets and how handy that is. Chipping your children so you can find them if they're kidnapped.
It's interesting you bring up chipping your pets. As you know, dogs are people too, and I've been following all the latest with Big Pharma, and this ad popped up.
Go with Simparica Trio. It's triple protection made simple. Simparica Trio is the first and only monthly chewable that covers heartworm disease, ticks and fleas, round and hookworms. Dogs get triple protection in just one Simparica Trio.
Wait for it.
This drug class has been associated with neurologic adverse reactions, including seizures. Used with caution in dogs with a history of these disorders.
So they're doing disclaimers now for dog drugs. It's a full-on disclaimer. If your dog has severe mental issues, don't give him this. Oh, my goodness. These people are crazy. Oh, by the way, the answer to the reason or when it started, pharmaceutical companies advertising in the United States on television, although direct-to-consumer advertising of drugs was legal in the U.S., has been since 1985, it really took off in 1997 when the Food and Drug Administration eased up on a rule obliging companies to offer a detailed list of side effects in their infomercials. And that's why today we have the fine print and the very long disclaimers as to what it can get.
Good. Got to put a time code, please.
So as long as you have that, you can advertise. Now, 97, was that Clinton? Yeah, it was Clinton, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. But here's the.
The first one was Reagan with the first advertisements, and then Clinton just upped the ante.
I wonder who was FDA commissioner under Clinton.
We could find out. It's got to be somebody who's like, maybe that's the guy we heard earlier, the head of Pfizer. I mean, it's got to be somebody that's famous.
Somebody. Let me see. Well, I have it here. Let's go. We have 1999. So it would be the guy 1990 who was still under. He was still there during Bush. Kessler. American pediatrician, attorney, author, and administrator, serving as chief science officer of the White House COVID-19 response team. Funny how those people come back. Yes, that's the guy who made it happen, and now he's advising on more advertising. But here is the
unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Well, now you ready for unbelievable?
Talk about your revolving door. Go on.
The New York Times. You're not going to see this on television. Headline: buoyed by federal COVID aid, big hospital chains buy up competitors. Billions of dollars in COVID aid cushioned financial losses caused by the pandemic at some of the nation's largest hospital chains, but those bailouts also help sustain the big chain spending sprees as they expanded even more by scooping up weakened competitors and doctor practices. Great reset, anybody? Boom. That's the scam right there. Reed Abelson, thank you for writing that. You're fired.
You're fired. Get out.
More consolidation by several major hospital systems enhanced their market prowess in many regions of the United States, even as rural hospitals and underserved communities were overwhelmed with COVID patients and struggled to stay afloat. There's your $15,000 corona COVID case. There's your ventilator case. There's all of the we're full. We ICU units.
We're full.
All of it. You're full of shit, is what you are. They stole the money. Stole it. And
expand.
And the Biden administration is going to give hospitals and health providers another $25 billion.
Hey, it's genius.
Of course it is, but we still need to
just soak the taxpayers and just do your thing. You know, we're on the wrong side of the equation with this thing. That's the problem with us.
Wrong side of the equation. 6 million people in London. Sadiq Khan, the newly re-elected mayor, speaks.
Comes to the consequences of catching the virus and when you get the virus. But actually in some parts of our city, as indeed across the country, I think the flexible and nimble approach is the right one to take. The good news is over 6 million Londoners have now received a dose of the virus. About 2 million received both doses.
I don't know if you could hear it.
Barely. But something about 6 million Londoners got the vaccine thanks to him.
Well, if only he said that.
Over 6 million Londoners have now received a dose of the virus. About 2 million.
A dose of the virus.
The collection just gets bigger.
Too bad. I tried to find a better audio quality. That was obviously indirect sound, but I thought it was worth it, man. Like, holy crap, a first dose of the virus. I mean, yeah, flub, gaff, maybe. Anyway, we now have emergency use authorization for children, 12 to 15? I think we need to reach out to the kids. CDC credits all over this influencer on TikTok. It's for the kids. Come on, kids, sing along. You'll enjoy it.
Get it soon, and then we can play. Yay! I'm so excited. We will get to play together when it's done. The shot. We will get to play together when it's done. The shot. We will get to play together. We will get to play together. We will get to play together when it's done. The shot.
How sad is it? You're muted. Hello? It says you have muted yourself.
Yes, I didn't do anything.
Oh, well, you showed up as muted.
I went to look at my clean feed thing, and it was blackened, like you said. It was muted, but I didn't do it.
I'm not blaming you. It's gremlins. It's a glitch.
I will say what I was trying to say was that you get your clip of the day for that clip, because that clip is dynamite.
Thank you. Clip of the day. You know,
I almost want to request you play it again, but why don't you put in the end of show mix?
Yeah, I could. You know what? I'm going to spruce it up. Maybe not today, but this is something that we need to. I think I need to accompany with some theremin.
Oh, please no!
You want me to put that in the end of show, huh? Okay, I can do that. I did there's this guy in Holland, Robert Jensen, and he was a big TV shows. He's been in mainstream for a long time. He decided he was going to go complete alternative, do his own thing. I showed him how to do value for value, and he's been very successful. He started on YouTube with the podcast, and then he said, "No, I think we talked about the Dutch army said they were scouring his site because of the wrong things he's saying about COVID and during the lockdown." And so he went off YouTube, and he's still very successful. And so I did the show with him for like a couple hours right before the U.S. election, and I did it again on was it Wednesday, I think. And I learned a new word because we talked about all of this stuff, and then of course threw in a little bit of flat Earth. I am now in Holland what they call a Wappie.
A what?
A Wappie.
A Wappie?
Wappie. A Wappie.
A Wappie?
And a Wappie is a conspiracy theorist.
Oh. What conspiracy were you theorizing about specifically?
Which one?
I want to know.
Okay. Coronavirus, bullcrap. Did we ever land on the moon? Just the typical,
you went off
stuff.
Into the moon stuff. It's got nothing to do with what you do. You should probably dissuade yourself from the moon.
Well, I didn't even.
Well, it's too late now. You're a Wappie or a Wappie.
I'm a Wappie. I'm proud to be a Wappie.
By the way, that's a possible show title.
Wappie. It'll get some retweets because that's what's happening. The Twitter is blowing up. Carry you Wappie. Stole my Wappie. Hey, wait a minute.
Sorry.
Is that a V8?
I'm getting thirsty.
Is that a V8?
No, I hate to tell you this, but I had to, because I ran out of all the other good stuff. This is back to Spindrift. Sparkling water with real squeezed fruit.
Ooh.
And if you ever had your fruit squeezed, you know what I'm talking about.
Hey, why not just eat some fruit? It's a crazy concept. But with that, I'd like to thank you for your courage and say in the morning to you, the man who put the C in the conspiracy Wappies, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John C. Dvorak.
Well, in the morning to you, Mr. Adam Curry. Also in the morning, our ships, sea boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water, and the dames in the nights out there.
And in the morning to the trolls in the troll room. Hold on a second. Let's do it. We need a little count.
Troll count.
15, 20.
All right, the trolls, hands up. We got what? 2018. Very nice. You hear those trolls in the troll count?
They scatter.
They scatter very
quickly. They make noises when they scatter.
It's at noagendastream.com where you can listen to the show live on Thursdays and Sundays, but it's not the only show that's live. We have a lot of shows that go live. They're recorded. Of course, there's podcast, and that stream that's at noagendastream.com runs 24/7. And you just sit in the troll room. You can talk about whatever you're listening to or just troll for any other reasons. Anything you want. That's what it's for. noagendastream.com. If you want to participate in our social media postings and musings, you can follow John at John C. Dvorak at noagendasocial.com or at Adam at noagendasocial.com. We federate with anybody who wants to. We're closed for registrations, but there's a lot of good stuff happening there. And I see itmslaves.com. I see them showing up. I see gitmo.life showing up. More decentralization. Please, we're looking forward to it. Now, let's thank the artists for episode 13.
Well, before you go over there, I want to mention something else about Spindrift. It was a Canadian product. It has the motto of yup, that's it.
Interesting.
That's the motto. Now, it has like a spoon of grapefruit juice in it. The problem with it, it's sparkling, and the grapefruit juice sinks to the bottom and shows up at the end of the pour. So you technically should have to shake it.
Yeah, but it's carbonated.
Yes.
This
is typical Canadian.
Hold on. The science says you should not, that's our magic 8-ball, you should not shake the carbonated can. This is a very bad idea.
Well, anyway.
What a dumb product. Does it taste good?
It is what it is.
Does it taste good? Do you like it? Does it taste good?
It tastes like, it tastes just like regular sparkling water with about a tablespoon of
chemicals.
Grape. Grape juice.
Grape chemicals.
That's La Croix.
Yeah, since they didn't send us a case, they're chemicals.
Yeah, it is chemicals, I'm pretty sure.
I'm drinking a nice La Croix chemtrail right now. It's beautiful. As part of our value for value model, which means we ask for producers, as I explained earlier, to help produce the show, that comes with your time, your talent, and your treasure. One of the big talent categories is the artists. And thank you, Mountain Jay, for your art for episode 1348. We titled that Belching Freon, How Could We Not? And this was the Freedom Card, as we muse that perhaps California would be checking vaccination status with a credit card. And it was just so well done. The Freedom Card for the fully vaxxed. It was a card with all 33s in the number. The card member name was Shep Herd Member. Valid through booster. It had the razor wire background, a nice blue color, and it was diagonal, which it wasn't straight on. So it had a very, I thought, technically a good piece. Nailed it on all fronts.
Yeah, and the competition was mostly 8 balls, which didn't work.
Yeah,
because the 8-ball hole was too small. You couldn't read it.
Right.
And then there was one I liked, but then you just nixed it. Which was the Pfizer with the bathing beauty. The Pfizer, and you thought it would be kicked off the platforms.
I thought it would be subject to a takedown. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why you think that, and I question you, but at the same time, I wasn't so married to that piece that I didn't think the Freedom Card was better. The Freedom Card was better.
Yeah.
It was definitely the best.
Yeah. No, it was very
good. The
8
balls didn't work.
No, it's too bad because the 8-ball idea were right. The ideas were there, but no, it's too small. Just, no. And,
and if you didn't know what this thing was, you wouldn't know what it was. Just like a circle with a thing in there, a triangle in the middle. It just didn't work.
And sometimes ideas just don't pan out. The client says, give me a magic 8-ball. You come up with it and it just doesn't work, It's sometimes just not appropriate.
Yeah.
It's our bad. We did it wrong. It's our mistake. Well, Mountain Jay, who is no stranger to this particular corner of the value for value universe, thank you very much for doing that. Thank you to all of the artists who always submit, sometimes just submitting for themselves or just clearly to make us laugh. It's for us, I think it's a very nice way to end the show when we do this part of the production. It's phenomenal. And you can see any of these images that we've been talking about flying by you on your Podcasting 2.0 apps. It's one of the main and coolest features, along with many others. You can find great apps at newpodcastapps.com. Try a new one today. I think is coming out of the app stores with a brand new version, Podverse, also available on the web, podverse.com. These are Podcasting 2.0 apps, and we are trying to... No, we actually are preserving podcasting. So try a new app. Get rid of Apple. It sucks. New apps. Newpodcastapps.com. Now let's thank some of our executive and associate executive producers who came in to support the show with their treasure. We got long notes, I see. Holy crap. What were people thinking? It's, it rains, it pours. It's like the last couple of shows, very short. Of course, less donations. And these are long. It's crazy how that works.
Yeah. Some of them are too long. But Sir Dude named Ben with $1,000 from Franklin, Texas. I wonder if he's a dude named Ben.
He actually is.
Is he a dude named Ben
He is a dude named Ben, and I correspond with him regularly.
I'm super surprised. I noticed this is the meetup too. There was a dude named Ben there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dudes named Ben.
It's, well, hello. When we identify something, we're right. We rock.
It's astonishing. But anyway, $1,000, and he says, ITM, I'm sending you and John my another 1,000K because of the value of what you do. Jingles glitch, China is asshole, and coincidence, I think not. Please read this note on the air. John, your best drunken donation voice. Hopefully this okay. Hopefully this helps to see you through Podcasting 2.0 and the full acceptance of V for V. Adam, my hope is that you please read this note. Oh, I'm sorry. Preserve this as a platform of free speech. The cowardly Lincoln writes should tremble at this utterance of the prognostication uncancelable. Texas shoulder and will become a free state among states of the world. I, for one, am tired of the oppression from the nanny state. We need strong voices to help push it and preach it. I am not enough on my own. Sir Dude named Ben, defender of megawatts, protector of the electric grid, working overtime lately. I'm starting to drift into comic book guy.
It's okay.
I think this is what we got here.
You're almost there.
I'm working overtime lately. Please, they be Baronet, the county attached dude named Ben, defender of my watts, Baron of the electric grid. Okay. I don't know. It's not that good.
It worked for me. I got his jingles.
I got 99 glitches. It's just a glitch. And put a goatee on there, will you?
China is asshole.
Coincidence? I think not.
Okay.
William Torres, $1,000. Thank you for what you do, he writes. Parts unknown.
Did you get that code in those jingles?
Yeah, it's good.
I like it. I like it too.
Started listening since first Rogan appearance.
Oh, yep.
Rogan donation.
Yeah, see, these Rogan guys, they got the money.
Yeah. They are. It's like they are so generous and kind and smart, and it's not just them. They have all kinds of interesting takes on stuff. It's great to have the Rogan crossover.
Come on, everybody, step up. Me and my wife are now avid listeners. Now, I'll read that again. Me and my wife are now avid listeners now. Cheers to the greatest podcast in the world. Yes. Don't need any recognition. Just keep doing what you're doing. Okay. That's a short note. That was nice.
Love that. Yeah.
Sir Liptonite instead of Kryptonite came in 93433 in Eden, Utah. Another good note. Happy Saturday, gentlemen. Sir Liptonite, White Knight, Momentum, Karma for All.
Nice. Perfect. Karma for all. I hadn't even cranked up the Karma machine yet. It does take a little bit of preheating. It's diesel.
You've got karma.
I've told you, I don't know how many times I've told you this, but you've got to get rid of that tubes in the Karma and go to solid state.
But it's such a warmer sound.
Tony Cabrera's next, 755-48.
Yeah, there we go. No Agenda Shop.
He says, No Agenda Shop, checking in with your latest tribute, but wait, there's more.
Woo!
That's the shop guy.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out for a package or two of No Agenda ribbon mugs, Steins, and more.
Steins,
Hit
baby.
me with a double. You're going to need a Bitcoin before Fed moves on in that action. Before the Fed moves on, okay.
So noagendashop.com is one of these fantastic partnerships that we have nothing to do with. Those guys make T-shirts. I say, can we make T-shirts out of the art that the artist produced? Well, you got to ask the artist, of course. So now the way it works, they sell something with No Agenda art on it. The artists get a piece. The show gets a piece. They survive somehow. It's a beautiful system, and we could not be more thankful.
They're saying that all hell is going to break loose, and you're going to need a Bitcoin. They're saying that all hell is going to break loose, and you're going to need a Bitcoin.
Yeah, there's your double dose. I nailed it.
You're up.
In the morning, says Sir R. Daniels, 43434 from Colts Neck, New Jersey. This is a fantastic note, as it came in as a reply to an email from 2011. It's interesting. I saw RE:donation. I'm like, oh, did I already hear from this guy? And no, it was a reply to a 10-year-old email. I guess I need a de-douching, he says. It's clearly been a decade.
You've been de-douched.
But I was one of the originals, right? Take a look at that email trail, 2011. I started with the show in the early days. I religiously read JCD and PC Mag when I was a kid, begging my folks for a Commodore 64. They caved, and I got the deck and printer too. Big birthday. I was also the right age to see MTV do what it did and met Adam. So when there was a mention maybe on Twit, I started listening. I did meet Adam in Jersey City, Hoboken at a No Agenda meetup a few years ago, a long time ago. Good times. JCD, we were supposed to do a wine dinner at the Old Ritz in San Francisco with Kevin Rose. Not sure what happened there. Maybe we can pull off a no-agenda VIP wine dinner. Happy to organize, but we got to have good wine, not Costco. He's got demands. I was in the financial services world for the first half of my life so far, and we talked a bit about it back then. I lost touch with the show for a little while. I was asked to leave Goldman Sachs in 26. Oh, I know exactly who this is. This was our Goldman Sachs night from Jersey. Yeah. I was asked to leave Goldman Sachs in 2016 after essentially 22 years. Well, I had identified myself with that place for a good portion of my life. Y'all helped me understand, and I have the mental and intestinal fortitude to change my thinking and move on. I've since been able to be part of what I consider much more important and impactful business. While my focus still has roots in the fintech, two of my local New Jersey efforts I'm immensely proud of is Johnny Pork Roll in Red Bank and Garden State Distillery in Toms River. I guess he left in good standing from Goldman. I've partnered with fantastic, passionate people that make it all possible. Please add an unlimited supply of Brick Tucky bourbon and pork roll, egg, and cheese Sammys to the night's roundtable. You got it. I still appreciate all you guys do, more so now than ever. When I first signed on, JCD suggested my Sir R. Daniels name as a way to stay anonymous, being at Goldman Sachs and all. I kind of like the name, so we can just stick with it, even though I don't really care about the anonymity anymore. So 2 donations, 433.34 total, but I felt I needed to satisfy the third knighthood as Eric the Shill had me at $100.01 from a decade ago, and I wanted to throw in another $333 to get me a third of the way to the next knighthood. I'd appreciate small business R2D2 karma. And good to hear from you, Sir R. Daniels. Good to hear, and congratulations. Man, working for yourself. Nice.
You've got karma.
Working for yourself and making half as much.
Yeah, but you're free. You're a free man.
So is Andrea Johnson in Newburgh. No, she's a free woman. Newburgh, Oregon, 333.46. And hi, guys, she writes. My husband, Mark, initially hit me in the mouth years ago, and Sir Furry backed him up.
Right,
back him up too far.
We sail at dawn, Blue Dove.
It has taken me a long time. I'm just reading what she wrote. To convert. Please de-douche me.
You've been de-douched.
I was getting. Took a long time. I wonder why it took so long. I think there is an annoyance factor with some women.
With us,
me,
you mean
not
we?
You. It's me, not you. But here I am, your newest raving fan.
Wait a minute, stop. You think that some women it's tough for them to get into the show because of you?
Yeah.
I think you're the poster boy. I think they come to your animal magnetism.
I think it takes forever. See, right here, she says it. Adam, your energy is so infectious.
Yeah.
And John, your dry humor, which is what they hate, is the funniest ever. Well, now that she's come around, she says that.
Just takes some getting used to, that's all. Once you figure
Mark
out...
always knows when I'm listening to No Agenda because he hears me laugh randomly, and he wants to know what John just said.
There you go.
Hey-ho.
Mm-hmm.
Selfishly, I hope neither one of you ever finds an exit strategy. Anyways, again, that's what she wrote. Consider this as a down payment on my damehood. I'm also contributing monthly because you are the best source of amygdala shrinking ever. Thank you for the conspiracy therapy. No jingles, just no karma, but I wondered if you had a list of available jingles. Not really.
Yes. If you hit up Phoneboy at noagendasocial.com, he has a website that's stuff that he's recorded off the show for a decade now at least. It started as ringtones.
Do you have a list? Yeah, they're good ringtones. And do you have a list of the title levels? Yes, that's, I think, Dvorak.org/peerage.htm.
Yes, HTM. Drop the L for extra savings.
Think of, if you use HTM instead of HTML, you'll stop global warming.
fact. This is a
Don't
fact.
Don't listen to Adam mocking this idea.
It was my idea.
She writes, sincerely, Andrea Johnson Newberg, the People's Republic of Oregon.
Thank you, Andrea.
Jess Ben is next on the list. Did she ask for a karma?
No, she said specifically
Jess
nothing.
Ben from Central Wisconsin, 333.34 in Wisconsin. Please credit this to Jess Ben from Central Wisconsin. One shot of your finest top shelf jobs, karma. Stay safe.
Jobs.
You've got karma.
That's the strongest one we got. Logan.
I'll take this one. I'll take this one. You take the next.
Sorry.
Logan in Huntington, West Virginia, 333.33. This donation is for Taylor Counter's birthday. She is a wonderful beyond compare or even description. She's beyond compare or beyond description.
Wow. That's some hot stuff. She has not
had an official de-douching, so could you please do that for her?
You've been de-douched.
This is kind of interesting because he writes, she hit me in the mouth, and I cannot thank her enough. No agenda is 6 hours per week of quality time we spend together, thinking, laughing, and discussing. Thank you, John and Adam, for this. An executive producership is what she wanted for her birthday, which belies her impeccably good taste. Please give her the credit. A
switcheroo. Got it.
Taylor, you are a woman beyond compare, and I could not be more proud to be with you. Happy birthday. Thank you both. Okay.
Hey, douchebags, if you want to say something nice to your wife, I'd say that's top notch. What he just said there. That was top notch.
Lots of praise.
Yep, very nice.
Give her the executive producership.
Yep, that's the way to go.
Yeah, I think so too.
Very nice, Logan. Sir Gary and Dame Christine come in with 333.33 from Las Vegas, Nevada. This is to celebrate Sir Gary and Dame Christine of Moon's Gate. This is to celebrate Sir Gary and Dame Christine of Moongate's 33rd wedding anniversary on May 26, and they never had a fight. 33 years.
And it actually says that in there. You didn't ad-lib that.
No, I'm tight. I'm tight to the script. Since you thought that I would be reading this next one, I'll read this next one.
Yes, I did.
I'm kind. It's from the one and only David Fugazotto. He, of course, was trapped in the Arabian Peninsula, and he comes in with a note that he says he's safely back from Sri Lanka. Wait, what does that mean? Where is he now? Back from Sri Lanka. Very few tourists, and frequently I had entire hotels to myself. Crazy. There was a lockdown and curfew while I was there, so some days I was forced into activity by the pool reading Kurt Vonnegut. Yes, author of Harrison Bergeron and more. A fantastic book. And drinking beer. There you go. I completely unplugged from news other than no agenda and feel incredibly refreshed. While traveling, I made the mistake of posting pictures on the Sri Lanka subreddit. Yeah, but hello, bad idea. I was immediately accosted by Sri Lankan Redditors with terminal amygdala tumescence, known as TAT. Adam, would you be so kind to read some of the more hateful-filled comments in your most outraged, swollen amygdala guy voice? Yeah, I can try. So these are some of them. So he posted on the Reddit, on the subreddit, and then someone posted back, "Oh, I assume the last place you visit is the police station. How are you even traveling at these times?" And, "Oh, I'm glad people are still finding time to go on holiday while a pandemic is raging and variants are moving in and out of countries." And the best one, "I smell privilege BS here. Stay the fuck inside your fancy hotel and fly back to where you came from." Dave Fugazotto continues, "I was initially hurt by the comments. My life motto is don't..."
Why?
You know, of all the things that people said on Twitter about my appearance on Jensen, which by the way is, it's like in a laptop camera with, crap lighting over Skype. It really hurt me. Someone posted, "Man, what happened to Curry? He looks like shit." I was like, wow, that hurt. It did for a moment there. I'm like, So
my advice: get a ring light.
I did, no kidding. So Dave Fugazotto says, "I was initially hurt by the comments. My life motto is don't be a douchebag. And here I was accused of extreme douchebaggery. But then I realized that these people are simply demonstrating symptoms of mental illness. Dr. Bronner would prescribe a megadose of the No Agenda Show and 3 cc's of his stat. Despite the abuse by all 14 of the Sri Lankan Redditors, the country and people were amazing, beautiful, hospitable, and exceedingly gracious. I highly recommend it. Jobs Karma Please, Dame Melody and I both have interviews this week with the same company. Might be some interesting opportunities for the Fugazzotto family ahead. Apologies for the verbosity. You can now reclaim your time. Cheers and thank you for your courage, says David Fugazzotto, who is the Duke of America's Heartland and the Arabian Peninsula.
Jobs.
You've got karma.
Nice. Look forward to you guys visiting us in Waco.
Waco. I thought you were in Pflugerville, but you're just calling it. You're just saying you're in Waco because it's more prestigious.
People literally emailing me, "Hey man, Waco's fine, okay?"
What's wrong with Waco? I love Waco.
Nothing's wrong with Waco.
I've been to Waco. I've been to Waco and Pflugerville.
I've been to Waco too. Have you been to Pflugerville? Why were you in Pflugerville?
I was driving by. I was on the road. There's a highway that goes through it.
All right, you're up.
Oh yes, Debbie Cornyn in Pincher Creek, Alberta, Canada, 33333. My husband and I caved.
Uh-oh.
And I decided to get the vaccine as we were terrified we wouldn't be able to travel.
Oh, yeah.
Just by the way.
It's the Horowitz trick. They tricked you.
Yeah, there's an element to that, I think.
Yeah, there is.
We would, you get buffaloed.
Right.
I think the Animus, our Animus.
It's proof. It's
Super
proof.
Duke.
Yeah, it's proof.
He hasn't gotten a shot. He's been going all over the world.
Doing tests. Yeah, he says it works fine.
We wouldn't be able to travel, and he is also 71. I'm 61 with a mild atrial fibrillation condition.
Oh, he got a young one.
I think it's
he went for 10 years younger. Good on you, dog.
Mostly controlled by the meds and awaiting a heart ablation therapy treatment to hopefully fix this. Since April 2020, the treatment has always been 18 months away because the Alberta health system is keeping me safe from COVID. All in caps. After the first shot, I had a few days of mild heart instability, several AFib events, unusual, but not too alarming. 2 weeks after the second shot, however, I had a week or so of on and off AFib events plus severe hot flashes, night sweats like I haven't had in 8 years. Severe as in soaking the bed and awakening with sweats dripping every night. Prior to this, I've had maybe 2 hot flashes a year, and only after that second or third glass of red wine, only after a third glass of red wine, I feel like I'm going through menopause again.
It's that third glass will do it to you.
Both of us were perplexed, and I was getting very upset with the menopause redo until the light bulb went on as to what is happening. If it wasn't for No Agenda, I doubt I would have made the likely connection to the vaccine.
Really?
Isn't that interesting? As of Friday, the flashes seem to be lessening and heart feels more stable. I can only pray that this condition, continues. I'm sorry. Thank you both so much for generally shrinking my amygdala and for presenting these side effects reports where no one else is doing.
Hey, it also can be that, No Agenda just functions as a kind of placebo. It's like, oh, those guys said it was this. I feel better already. Symptoms leave.
I am reporting this to VAERS for what good that will do. It is all too easy to dismiss these reports as bull crap until it happens to you.
Yep.
It was my son, Brandon, who originally hit me in the mouth, and I would like to send him a boom shakalaka and a howling dog karma. Love and light, Debbie.
Bingo, boom, boom, shakalaka, boom, 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 shakalaka, boom, boom.
You've got karma.
Seth.
Yes.
Okay.
Hold on a second, because he has some jingles here. Could you read it? Because I got to get this jingle set up.
Seth Dubois of the Dubois of Littleton, Colorado. The Dubois of Littleton, Colorado, 33333 ITM. First-time donor, long-time listener. Please de-douche me.
You got it.
You've been de-douched.
And accept his humble donation for the amygdala care over the last few years. Having informationally, seemingly years in some cases. Let me read that correctly. Having information seemingly years, maybe who knows how long in advance of the general public from the show, allowed me to anticipate what is coming to bring others into the NA fold with solid hits in the mouth. Okay. Anyway, we predict the future. Please call out my brothers Ben and Matt. Sorry. Let me do that. Let's start that over. Help me call out my brothers Ben and Matt as douchebags and hope that they will repay in value. The value you have brought to group texts and dinner conversations in particular.
Interesting.
Requesting house buying karma as we have submitted an offer way over asking in the crazy Denver market after accepting a crazy offer on the house we are currently in. What are you going to do? Thanks again for all you do. Jingle, stop the hammering, Sleepy Joe, and you're going to need a Bitcoin, Seth.
Stop the hammering!
Sleepy Joe!
They're saying that all hell is going to break loose and you're going to need a Bitcoin.
You've got karma.
All right, we have Sir Michael of Third World Southeast. It's Seattle, Washington, 333. Sorry for
Southeast Asia.
Oh, I'm sorry, Southeast Asia. Thank you. So it's Sir Michael of Third World Southeast Asia, 333. He's in Seattle, Washington. Sorry for the long delay in donation. It's been a wild year. I was diagnosed with throat cancer last year, also known as a day wrecker. We went through chemo and radiation and cleared that up, but now I have cancer and 2 lymph nodes in my neck. As you're reading this, I'll be in the hospital having surgery to have them removed. I have to go in at 7 a.m. for a COVID test and then wait until around 5 p.m. for the surgery. I'm not really worried about the surgery. I just dread being in the hospital for days. Also, the doctor said I will probably lose feeling on the left side of my face. It will still work, but I won't be able to feel it. Also, because of some kind of tendon or something going from my neck to my trapezoid, I'll lose function in my left arm, but that can be rehabbed and get back to normal. I figured I should send a donation for some good karma. Yes, and we're happy that you let us know how this is happening. Quick COVID update. He says we're having a spike here, but at the same time, for the first time, they're showing mobile testing sites on the news. Coincidence? Love and lit. If you have time, can you play I Got Ants, the intro, I know it's a big ass, into Obama, You Might Die, and I guess we might as well do an F Cancer. Absolutely. Big karma coming for you, my friend.
I got ants.
You might die.
You've got karma.
Well, don't die. Heather.
No, please don't.
Heather Heim, H-E-I-M, I think, in Dubuque, Iowa, 333. ITM, you got some jingle requests, whatever the best jobs karma is. I need the big one.
Yep.
Big gun, she says. First, I want to thank you for amazing shows. They just get better and better. You're certainly keeping me and my family's amygdala small, and I can't thank you enough for that. John, a while back, you mentioned that you were going to be creating a mission statement for the podcast. Did that happen? Yes. I'm pretty sure I caught up on all the shows and haven't heard more about it.
Where is it?
I have it.
Have you posted it on
keep promising to send it to you. I keep promising to send it to you, but I don't. Thanks for nothing. I was so excited about No Agenda having a mission statement. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
I'm going to send a mission statement. I have it. I wrote it.
Put it on Cosmic Weenie, bro.
No, I'm just going to send it to you.
Okay.
I wrote it, then I had it copy edited so it's clean.
Ooh, it's professional.
And then I re-edited it, and now it's ready. And it's been sitting there for months in my box, ready to go to you. Because you're going to put it on the No Agenda, on the
thing,
main page.
On the thing.
And it's a beauty, by the way. The idea of the mission statement originally was this. People would bitch and moan about the show, and we say, hey, read the mission statement. It tells you everything you need to know.
It's basically creating less work for us. Like, hey,
yeah, so go read the mission statement. So stop grousing.
And we'll put a link to it. We need a website, like the mission statement, stopgrousing.com.
Anyway, she says she hadn't heard more. I was excited about No Agenda having a mission statement because it's one of the foundations of my business, and was curious where you were with that. Okay, this week will be the mission. This is mission statement week.
Woo!
Speaking of businesses, could I get some supersized jobs? Karma recently launched HD Leadership Academy, www.hd-leadership.com/academy, which helps leaders hone their skills and increase confidence, competency, and profitability.
Woo.
And I could really use a few founding members. I know the NA network, we'll put a link in there for you for that. I know the NA network is huge, so you all know if anyone who could use the benefit from my academy, send them my way, and I'll take good care of them. Once this business takes off, I'll be able to donate more often. I see damehood in my future. Thanks again for all you do. Love is lit, Heather.
And congratulations. I love it when people launch new businesses.
Jobs. You've got karma.
It's the big guns. Chris Ryan is from Hamilton, Ohio, and comes in with 266.44. Dear John Adam, my donation today of $266.44 brings my total donation amount to $421.21. This number is significant because it's the day my nephew Wesley passed away due to one of the many complications of having Down syndrome. Wesley was 3 years old and spent 555 days of his short life in the hospital, enduring one emergency surgery after another. Wesley has been given a very low chance of survival by all his doctors from the day he was born. The length of his life can only be attributed to his parents, my brother Sean and his wife Erica, who have all but become doctors to care for him. When a child dies, the parent dies 1,000 times. They sacrifice so much to maintain a somewhat normal life for Wesley and their other 3 sons. Sean even quit his full-time job as a CPA to meet the high demands of having a medically fragile child at home that needed 24-hour care. I'd like to use this donation to help promote Sean's beard care business, 8-Bit Beard Co. Did he have to leave a link? I'll see if I can find that and put a link in the show notes. I like the name, 8-Bit Beard Co., beard company. It is one of his passions to own and run a business that he's trying to focus on staying home the rest of this year and spending time with his other sons and wife. Thank you for everything you do, both do, and to my No Agenda family. Due to the length, no jingle. Sincerely, Chris Ryan, soon to be Sir T.T. Dutch. P.S. I freaking love this show. Absolutely. Yeah, I'll find the website and link to it. I love it. Another business started. What No Agenda creates more jobs than Joe Biden?
Saves or creates.
Saves or creates. I'm sorry. Yes.
Cameron Beck's next. He's in Auchenflower, Queensland, Australia. It could be Auchenflower or Auchen. If it's German, it'd be Auchenflower, I think. 333.33. Jingle request, 2 to the head. Goodbye, left nut. See the juice. Thanks for that visual. Hi, TM, gents. I'm donating 333.33 Aussie dollar ruse as a 33rd birthday gift to myself and as a thank you for the value you provide me on a twice weekly basis. I would like to request some jobs karma, as after 14 years working in the family business and the only family member still remaining in the business, I feel it is time to move on and leave the new owners to their own devices. Anyone in Brisbane in need of someone with a corporate governance strategy, risk data analysis, or report automation skills,
sexy.
Hit me up on No Agenda Social.
Sexy.
What? That can be.
I want to date him. I don't want to hire him. Woo!
Also, I'd like this opportunity to plug my family's new ventures. Tessera Wines. Tessera Wines. While not a small batch or artisanal, they are boutique, in my opinion. Some of the best, particularly our Shiraz. I've set up the discount code NA Nation on our online shop at tesserawines.com.au. That's TESSERA wines.com.au. However, shipping is limited to Australia. When we figure out how to ship to the U.S. without it costing more than the wine itself, samples will be coming your way, John and Adam.
Nice.
Could I also be added to the birthday list for yesterday, 22nd of May, and shout out to the Brisbane producers, and see you all on the 30th at the meetup for a few frothy ones. Bring some wine. Cheers, Cameron.
Good night, left nut.
Oh my gosh. Can you see that juice?
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Lawrence Cornell in Battle Creek, Michigan, 23456. Hi, guys. May it take a long time to find your exit strategy. Thank you for all you that you do. I need a de-douching and would like to request a jobs karma.
You've been de-douched. Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
I'll wrap it here with Sir Thomas of the Great Bay, last on the list with $200 and two from Newmarket. What the hell's Newmarket? What's MH?
MH?
I'm guessing he's from Sir Thomas of Great Bay. It's got to be Michigan. It's just, I don't know why it came up as MH.
Interesting.
There's no state of MH. There's a state of confusion, which is why MH
for sure.
Yes. $200 donation correction from Sir Thomas of Great Bay. In episode 1346, Adam said he was immune to SARS-CoV-2 because he had the swine flu, and the two viruses are 80% genetically identical. I think he meant SARS, which as far as I know, he did not have. Please explain.
I was simply reading from the BBC website that literally said, let me see, people who had last year's swine flu, and this is 11th of January, 2011, have the same super immunity to flu that people have from the H1N1, which was wasn't that the 76 swine flu, I think.
No, there was one since then.
That
was the one that was the one out of Mexico that we made a fuss about.
But regardless, if anyone should have gotten this, I'm a smoker. I have all kinds of allergy issues.
He licks everything he sees.
I lick anything on the ground, ashtrays, you name it. If anyone should have gotten it, it's me. So I'm going to do the T-cell test because I have immunity. I don't know why. I mean, I'm Superman. I'm the Podfather. It's not enough for you?
Because he does good work. That's the reason he's immune.
Thank you very much, Sir Thomas of Great Bay. Who knows? But BBC could be full of crap. It's also the British Medical Journal reported on it. But it's a placebo. I feel good knowing this. So don't mess with me.
We need a James Brown.
I feel good. And is that our last?
That is our list of well-wishers, producers, and executive producers, and associate executive producers for show 1349. Next show 1350, crossing the 1350 barrier. And I want to thank each and every one of them that makes this show happen.
Yes, and thank you for accepting these credits. Because it's really a big part of the promotion for the show. Even when you put this in your resume, your CV, you put it in your social media profiles, put it on your business card, put it on your mailbox. I am an executive producer or associate executive producer of the No Agenda Show, episode 1349. Wear it proud, say it loud, and thank you very much for your courage. And if anyone else would like to be one of these title holders, it's easy. All you got to do is go here.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Thank you again for your time, your talent, and your treasure in producing the best podcast in the universe.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth. Order!
Shut up,
slave. Would you like a little intermezzo of something funny?
I'd love something funny.
The consumerresearch.org. Are you familiar with this outfit?
Yes, I am. I've seen them. I've seen their stuff crop up every so often. It's a kind of a Consumer Reports competitor online.
Right. Do you think that they're on the up and up? Do you think there's political things going with them? Or?
You're asking me something I can't answer because I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, they did produce a couple of very funny 30-second promos. They're on YouTube. I don't know if they are going to be on television. They're certainly good enough. The production quality is fantastic. Even without seeing them, I think you'll get the idea very quickly from the first 30-second spot as they call out woke companies.
American Airlines rated the worst, losing the most bags, shrinking legroom during COVID. American requires passengers to show ID to fly, but attacks Texas's popular voter ID law. Why is CEO Doug Parker trying to appease the radical left? To distract from billions in taxpayer bailouts, from his $10 million payday, from Americans' record layoffs. Doug Parker, American Airlines. Serve your customers, not woke politicians.
Yeah. Those are going to show up on mainstream.
No, they could buy local cable. They could buy local cable.
Maybe.
I think they could do that. Here's the one for.
Where are they at? Okay.
With your question,
did you find out the motivation behind these? They hate this guy.
No, they hate woke companies. They're a consumer-based company.
No, I'm a big fan of them now.
Yes, that's the whole point.
Coca-Cola is getting political, attacking Georgia's popular voting law. Why? To distract from years of dismal sales, terrible 2020 results. Reports suspecting they benefited from forced labor. In China, Coca-Cola products are poisoning America's youth and worsening the obesity epidemic. So the company tried funding phony science to minimize the harms. But they got busted. James Quincy, Coca-Cola. Stop poisoning our children. Serve your customers, not woke politicians.
Wow.
Stop poisoning our children. So
I love these.
From their website, since 1929, Consumers Research has been asking the foundational question. Were they online in 1929? This is great. Who or what best serves consumers' well-being? In their book, 100 Million Guinea Pigs, our founders, Frederick J. Schlink and Arthur Callett, wrote about a need to provide the consumer some manner of defense against the shortcomings of the 1930s era consumer education. Well, isn't that interesting? Is this a cycle we're in?
Like, yeah, I mean, from their perspective, it looks like it.
In 1981, newly appointed editor M. Stanton Evans helped guide consumers research through its expansion from a product-focused organization to one that also considers the effects laws, regulations, and government programs have on consumers. Today's consumer research leadership continues that legacy. Blah, blah, blah. Here's the final one, and this is an easy target.
Nike is constantly political. Why? Cover. Congressional reports suspect Nike used forced labor in China. Religious minorities were ripped from their families, sterilized, sold to factories. Nike made shoes in those same areas. Congress tried to ban Nike's labor practices. Nike fought back with highly paid lobbyists. Rather than hiring Americans, Nike chose China. John Donahoe, Nike, stop exploiting foreign labor. Serve your customers, not woke politicians.
Yeah, well, this is a DC-based organization, so it's probably they're on
like a pressure group.
Yeah, they're on F Street. So who else is on F? This is a fun thing to do. F Street, the GSA headquarters. Let's see.
What's this? F Street's the second tier people. The K Street people are the top.
Oh yeah, K is where the kilos are. It's the K's, baby. That's where you want to be. So yeah, I kind of like that. I like it when.
I think we should follow them because I'm on their side.
Totally.
So let's get some Biden clips. I got Biden clips.
Oh, nothing like a Biden Sunday, everybody.
Biden Sunday. He was met with the Korean.
Now, you only going to make fun of the president? Are you just going to mock him?
I never mock the president. I respect the office.
Okay.
So I wanted to just play a few clips because he does, he kind of mumbles once in a while. You don't know what the hell he's talking about. So he's with the prime minister or president. I think he's the prime minister of Korea, South Korea.
President.
And they're having a great old time. And he's taking some questions from the audience and he's making a few comments here and there. I would just give you some.
Wait, this was unscripted? He's taking questions from the audience.
No, he takes a question. In one case, he takes a question from somebody from, I think it's CBS. And he looks down on a sheet and reads the answer.
Okay, I just want to make sure we know what's going on here.
Now, he does the ad-lib once in a while, and that's where he gets into trouble. Of course, we know this. This is a theme. So let's start with, first of all, to link it back to the first part of the show, let's go to Biden. I think he never got the memo on this, but he says everyone wants the vaccine.
Everybody.
It is my hope and expectation. I cannot commit to it because we don't know for certain. But we think that over the remainder of 2021, we're going to be able to vaccinate every American. We have enough vaccine to vaccinate every American, period, right now.
Period.
We're going to be able to do that by the midsummer, and we're going to continue to get more people to engage in seeking the vaccine. I don't believe, I never have believed, that there's a large percentage of Americans who will not take the vaccine.
Okay. Well, Joe, he doesn't believe it. All right.
Doesn't believe it. Everyone wants the vaccine, according to him, and everyone's going to get a shot, period.
Yeah, period.
You're getting a shot, Adam. Let's listen to him talk about, now I don't know what he's saying here, but let's listen to it. This is Biden mumbling about world protection.
Because it's not just, and this is what I like about this president, he's not just talking about any more than I'm just talking about the United States or just Korea. He's talking about the Indo-Pacific. He's talking about the world. We, with advanced capabilities, have an obligation to do everything we can to provide for protection of the entire world.
Okay. We are the police of the world again.
Not sure what that was all about. Here he is. Now, this is, I didn't check up on this, but there's a hate crime bill that he's signed off on.
Yes, the COVID-19 hate crime bill. Oh, yeah, it's fantastic.
Well, here he's talking about it.
I want to note that yesterday I had the honor of signing into law the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act to help Americans of Asian descent from having to live in fear just walking down the streets of the United States. Quite frankly, I've been ashamed at the way some Americans have responded.
Yes, I've looked at this bill. I've not been able to get a good clip. I want to tell you about it.
Well, I want to ask you a question then. Why is it called the COVID-19 hate crime bill?
Okay, I will answer that. I have not seen the language that passed, but the preamble was there was increased anti-Asian hate crime against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders and allies and whoever else they want to throw into the bunch because Trump said it was from China, Wuhan flu. That's where the hate crime started, with Trump. That's the entire reason behind that bill.
So it's just a Trump thing.
Yes. Yeah. Because they say that people started harassing Asians after Trump when Trump would not stop saying China flu, Wuhan flu. So they had to
always Trump's fault. It's Trump's fault. You're right. Yeah, it's obvious.
Yeah. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, kind of. Stupid. So I only got a couple more of these. The rest of these are short, especially the last two. This is the Biden SUGAF.
SUGAF.
To deepening our cooperation to build out an open, secure G5 network. A 5G network, I should say. I'm talking about the G5. It's another organization. I'm thinking organization, Mr. President. To secure the 5G networks.
That's funny. G5, baby.
Now we have a couple of shorties. This is Ramble 1.
Okay.
And so I don't, and I think that,
the thing. Yeah.
And then the Rebuild Gaza.
That's good.
Rebuild the Gaza. Rebuild Gaza.
Yeah, 5G, G5, Gaza. I had this from 2 shows ago. I have a little supercut of Biden with acronyms, which seems to be a problem for the president. He can't quite keep them straight. It's like he has dyslexia. He has acronymous dyslexia. Would you like to hear this?
Sounds like a word. Go.
That's
yes.
why I'm asking people to continue to follow the CDC guidelines. The PPP needed to open our schools and businesses. The JOPCA, so that LGBTQ people can shoot just as straight as anybody else. The N1H15, as well as there's more than one coronavirus. This COVID-9 is one strain of that. Supply of those N95 masks, 96 masks. To serve as the director of the AFT. David knows the AFT well. PPPs, masks, gloves, all the sanitation. Every CBC and other, he named 4 outlets. Look, the promise of the Cures Act is that your average worker, to make sure we have enough PPP, those protective gear in the CVC parking lots and Walgreens parking lots, and I forget the other one he mentioned. PPP, the masks and the gowns and all the gear.
He is a gift. Just a gift.
He is a gift.
Just a gift, man. A gift.
Now, I want to put that last clip, the Gaza one.
Mm-hmm.
These were all at the same press event. Now, play it again, and what's going on in the background? The sound on this event, he's got his old sound guys back.
Rebuild the Gaza. Rebuild Gaza.
You mean there's something coming through in the background, like some scatter?
Yeah, there's some coming through. At the beginning, they didn't have potted up right. He was like, "Hello again." Not loud enough.
They got the B team out, huh?
I don't know what this deal is with him, with this group.
Hey, I have 2 clips, one really short and one a little bit longer that is about the. I hate to go back to it, but this ivermectin is now a scandal.
Why?
It's now coming out how suppressed this information has been. And, well, there's actually 2 things. The first one is the convalescent plasma, which is isn't that where you get plasma replaced from someone who has the antibodies? I think.
I don't know. I think so.
Yeah, so they
sounds right.
They pump that through your veins. There's a problem right now with blood that can be used for that.
And while it's promising to see the first round of people getting vaccinated for COVID-19, a new problem that blood banks are facing is less convalescent plasma donations.
So the reason why after you get the vaccine, you can no longer donate that plasma. So the question is, what does that mean for the people who are sick in the hospital with COVID who need all of that plasma to survive?
Yeah. So if you've had
wait.
Yeah.
Now questions come to mind. I'm sure they asked them. The first question that comes to mind, if I was doing these reports, I'd ask why. And then the second question I'd ask is, if that's true and we want to vaccinate everybody, we just heard Biden say it, does that mean that people can never get plasma again because everyone's going to have the shot? So plasma supply of the entire country is going to be shot because of this?
So if you had asked those 2 questions, your third question would be, do you have a box for my stuff? So
yes,
of course.
Yeah, I need a box
to clear out
for
your desk. Stuff. To clear out your desk. No, that was not asked. Now, ivermectin, there's 2 things happening. One, we don't hear much about India anymore, do we? Gee, ivermectin crushes Delhi cases. The minute ivermectin was reintroduced, cases started dropping dramatically. And it always was kind of a small portion based upon their population anyway. But the bigger news is a very well-respected doctor, author, Michael Capuzzo, who has won, I think he's won Pulitzers. He may even have, let me see, I'm trying to think. I think it's in this. It's in the show notes, so you can read it.
Lies.
It's he wrote this beautiful article, "The Drug That Cracked COVID," and then he talks about specifically this Buffalo hospital room. A grandmother led the global fight to save for the world, to fight for the global fight for the drug that would save her and save the world. Michael Capuzzo, and he's part of the frontline COVID-19. Critical care physicians, which is a group that's being taken very seriously. And so he posted this 8-minute long piece of crap video in which he's begging journalists to do something, begging them. We're only going to play a little bit of it for obvious reasons, way too long. But also, for some reason, someone said, hey, it'd be cool, put a piano under that. Have it go ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling the whole time when you're talking, and take really long pauses and let that ding-a-ling-a-ling music come up. So, needless to say, I cut the ding-a-lings, and this is the best I can do. So, this is Michael Capuzzo.
Every day in the New York Times and on NPR everywhere, when it surfaced, when we got to finally ivermectin as a potential game changer for the, that it lacked the data and insufficient evidence. But as a reporter, I saw with my own eyes the other side, the side of these 5 doctors, and I really wish the world could see both sides. I just urge my fellow journalists to report this is legitimate doctors and a legitimate story, and just report it. Get out there and find all sides. There are hundreds of thousands of people, actually millions of people around the world, from Uttar Pradesh in India to Peru to Brazil, who are living and not dying because of this drug. And I don't know a bigger story in the world. I think it's very sad because I've spent months, a year now, in the company of these doctors who have saved more people at a higher percentage than anyone in the world, and they can't get their message out. And if the NIH and the WHO and the CDC and the FDA are impediments to that, I think it's a tragedy because, if you believe these doctors, and I do, I've determined that after a year of getting to know them and reporting this and reporting the other side, it means that hundreds of thousands of lives have been lost unnecessarily. And that's a tragedy and a scandal. The WHO ended up not even voting on whether or not this was a viable treatment. They shunted it off to a lower committee that literally threw out all the evidence before they voted. To me, still comes down to journalists doing their job as a counterbalance to those greater forces that seem to be collaborating in preventing this from getting to the world. My mentors and peers won Pulitzer Prizes in the 70s for ending the Vietnam War or birthing the civil rights movement earlier than that. But this is the first time, if you think about it, since Google spawned from Gutenberg, that journalists can literally save the world. That if CNN and Fox and all the networks, the New York Times, Washington Post, and all of them get out the true story of ivermectin to billions of people, which they're now capable of in an instant, thousands of doctors will use it overnight, and millions of people will be saved. And it'll be said for the first time in history that in that moment, journalists truly saved the world.
Oh, boo-hoo. Why don't you call this segment The Naive Journalist from Hell with a musical bed? I mean, give me... this is... Okay, I'll say it. Oh, brother. How dumb is this guy?
Well, it led me to a different thought, which is completely unrelated to this. Why is it, in this age of script kiddies, actual script kiddies being able to launch ransomware, and, there's some sophistication, but really, is it that hard to launch ransomware and tie up a company? Not really. Why? Why in God's name do they never go after TV studios, networks, the Network Operations Center, the printing press, the websites, the internal New York Times, Washington Post, news desks? That would be interesting. I'd just love to see Fox, CNN, MSNBC just all test pattern. Sorry, ransomware. Why does that never happen? Why does no one...
Well, I can think of a lot of reasons.
That's the place you want to hack if you want to mess with America.
No. This is like... this would be worse than poking the bear. The news media people would go on a rampage. They demand government action. These guys would get tracked down like dogs. That's exactly the opposite of the people you want to go after if you're playing that game, ransomware game. You're going to get caught. Busted, thrown in jail forever.
Oh, yeah? Did they catch the Sony hacks? The Sony ransomware? No.
Sony didn't have the power of the New York Times.
They got power?
They had no power.
No.
I was looking at there's a chart that's floating around showing these different media companies. Sony's a middling. They got no power. They do movies. They got nothing.
Well, how come Russia doesn't do this just for the fun of it? Or China?
That's a different... you're changing the subject.
No, I'm asking.
Doing it for just the fun of it, that's different.
That would
Well, that's because we could do it just for the fun of it, too, and they don't want that. That would create a quid pro quo for the fun of it. So that's not going to happen either.
But we need a way. No. We need a way to cancel television networks.
Yeah, well,
can't we DDoS something? I mean, come on, this is crazy. The problem is clearly the media. Just shut them down for a week.
I agree.
Just a week. Just only podcasts and blogs.
Yeah,
it'll be. No, I guess not.
So it's not. Yeah, I mean, I think your heart's in the right place.
Well,
talking about your heart being in the right place. So there's this Fulton County thing going on, which is something you should be covering because it's all about the great Trump won the election.
Oh no, I have. What do you mean? Do you listen to the show where I always give you an update about the nutty stuff that's happening? Of course,
I got some updates because I want to compare them. I want to compare updates.
Okay.
It turns out that the Fulton County thing, which is they're going to check the ballots. I want to play 2 clips, and I would have played a third clip, but the third clip.
And where is Fulton County? I'm sorry, Fulton County is where?
It's in Georgia.
Okay.
It's the main. I think Atlanta's in Fulton County, if I'm not mistaken, but it's one of the main counties in Georgia. And that's where one of the scandals took place, where they got all the fake ballots in, and now they're trying to bust the. And what's strange to me is that, and you haven't explained it. I haven't never heard an explanation why the Republican Secretary of State is all against this. He's a Republican. I've got to look into this guy. I think he's a phony.
Mm-hmm.
But let's go to what they're going to be doing supposedly, and this is the Fulton County rundown, and this is off of NTD. The NPR report said nothing. NTD at least covered it.
And voters in Fulton County, Georgia will be able to review absentee ballots from the 2020 election. A local judge has just ruled to unseal the ballots. NTD's Allison Lee has the details.
Georgia's Henry County Superior Court Judge Brian Amaro ruled on Friday to unseal absentee ballots from the 2020 presidential election in Fulton County. This after local voters filed a petition last year asking for a forensic inspection of the mail-in ballots. They allege abnormalities in the vote count. The petitioners will go to Fulton County's ballot storage facility on May 28th. County workers will be scanning and inspecting the ballots while the petitioners and their experts observe. But Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger is against the decision to unseal the ballots. He previously requested the court in April to permit petitioners to inspect ballot images only and denied petitioners' request to inspect and scan ballots. Raffensperger said doing so would violate state law. The same judge granted the petitioners access to scanned images of the ballots in March, but the petitioners said the resolution was too low and asked to see the physical ballots. The petitioners' forensics expert David Sawyer said he found a discrepancy between the number of batches received from the Dominion voting system software and the number of Secretary of State listed in an audit. The Georgia judge will soon decide on protocols governing the inspection process. Allison Lee, NTD News.
Was there any information on the law that would be broken to request
that was
ballots?
Another thing that is a question you'd ask, but no. Again, that doesn't get asked. But to get some of the background that you really need to understand what they're thinking, the petitioners, what they're up to, you have to go to a podcast.
Yes, of course. That's where it is. That's where the truth lies.
And find a podcast where they're actually talking to one of the petitioners and discussing some of the rumors, even though they're rumors and they're maybe not true, and the whole thing may be just a waste of time, which is possible. But at least we get something other than a pablum story, even though I'd say NTD story is a lot better than NPR's was. But let's listen to the short segment. This is in this little short segment, which is the podcast. It's only 54 seconds.
What's the
we
name
get more information, interesting information than we otherwise have gotten anyplace else.
Welcome to the Propaganda Report. I'm Monica Perez with my partner and co-host Brad Binkley and our favorite guest of all time, Garland Favorito, who is fighting for election integrity, especially in Fulton County regarding the November 2020 election. He's been suing to get his hands on the mail-in ballots, 145,000 ballots, where he has 4 sworn affidavits by audit workers saying that the ballots did not appear to be the proper paper stock, looked like they were printed out, already filled in, and didn't have folds in them. So how could they be mail-in ballots? Wouldn't you want to get your hands on those ballots and see what the truth was, that's what Garland is suing for. And what happened yesterday? What did the court tell you yesterday about your ability to inspect those ballots?
Basically, they said go for it, but nice. they put a couple of restrictions on it, which we're okay with.
Well, so those are good, by the way. So what I see happening, which is really not reported in a broad sense anywhere, is you kind of have two battlefields going on right now. You have, on one hand, you have all this local and state recounts and looking at the ballots and looking at the databases and routers and getting as much data as possible, trying to build local cases, which I think is at least serving up some local uncertainty and doubt. It's very, I mean, I read all the reports, and the reports, wow, this looks like total fraud, but, it goes nowhere. So I don't know what the process is. But that apparently is what Trump's strategy is, from what I'm hearing. So have all these state investigations going on, and then kind of have that crescendo towards 2022. At the same time, and it's really obvious what the Democratic Party, and it's purely for political purposes, is they want the 9/11 style January 6th commission, which will allow them to maintain their narrative. They're doing they're keeping people locked up on nothing more than trespassing charges, and also, there was a guy who sold footage. Of course, he billed himself as a citizen journalist from inside the Capitol. And he made $90,000 selling that footage to CNN and Fox and MSNBC. And the government seized it. They seized his money. I don't understand why they would do that. So they're trying to build something to definitely hurt Trump, to hurt the Republican Party and anyone who has any Trump juice on them for the 22 election. And honestly, I think that this whole homeless thing is also all political. They don't give a crap. They'll do anything. Lock people up, keep people sleeping in garbage all over towns. And I've never really viewed the Democrats as an entity of a-holes, but I can't get around it anymore. I don't have anything with the Republicans, like, fine, douchebags, do-nothings. But the Democrats are evil. They are.
Wow. Well, that was a long road to get to that. I'm not going to argue the point.
No. It would be silly.
But I'd like to know what the deal is with this Secretary of State of Georgia, or Attorney General, one of the two, who's pushing against this idea. He's a Republican. What kind of a Republican is that?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm seeing a lot of these old Republicans cropping up. In fact, the term crops up in this story here. The Chicago Tribune is being sold.
Yes, to a hedge fund, right? To a hedge fund.
Yes, the whole company is being sold to a. Not that, but it's a hack 'em up, guys. Let me just play these clips. This was on NPR, and this is about the Chicago Tribune sold. This is clip.
Well, don't you want to intro it properly?
I'm sorry?
Don't you want to intro it properly if it's from NPR?
Oh, well, I didn't talk low enough into the mic, really close to the mic, so it sounds like this. Even though I probably have way too much background noise for the true NPR sound.
I've got the dead sound down, the NPR dead sound. Let's listen to...
dead, I gotta be dead.
Let's listen
you have to actually be dead to work there.
After a roller coaster ride of a process, the News Tribune Publishing Company have been sold. That includes the Chicago Tribune, the Baltimore Sun, New York Daily News, and other metro newspapers up and down the East Coast. The new owner is Alden Capital, a hedge fund company that has slashed newsrooms at the 100 daily newspapers that it already owns. A rival bid fell short in large part because no one came forward who wanted to save the Chicago Tribune. NPR's David Folkenflik joins us. David, thanks for being with us.
Hey, pleasure, Scott.
I guess I can't pretend to feel neutral about this. My feelings for Chicago and what the Tribune represents. And to hear that phrase, no one stepped forward to save the Chicago Tribune. Why?
Well, it's the right question. A Swiss-born medical device entrepreneur billionaire named Hans-Jörg Wyss stepped forward for a hot moment, but he pulled back because he realized what he should have known from the outset, which is that there's no way to turn the Tribune into a national publication that could compete with the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal and the Washington Post. Now, here's the thing. Chicago is the hole in the donut because a Maryland philanthropist and hotel magnate named Stuart Bainum Jr. had stepped forward and said, I'll give $100 million towards buying the whole thing and then spinning them off into a bunch of local owners as long as they're civic-minded as I am. He'd found people lined up in Allentown, in Hartford, Connecticut, where Tribune Newspapers owns one. So they thought they just needed another $100 million from some backer who wanted the Chicago Tribune, and no one was there.
Yeah.
You know, a number of Tribune journalists had looked to Los Angeles Times owner Patrick Soon-Shiong, who had a major minority stake in this company, to block the deal. He's focusing on really doing an amazing job trying to infuse money into the Los Angeles Times and San Diego Tribune, but he's not shown up as the hero in this saga. They're going to fend for themselves.
There are a lot of rich people in Chicago. They're Fortune 500 companies, philanthropists. What does this say about Chicago and its civic leaders?
You know what this sounds like to me? Like a bunch of journalists who know they're next. What about some rich guys? What about some philanthropists? Can anybody it's only $100 million. Put some into it. Save us.
Well, one of the things is these guys the whole community of quote unquote journalists, today's trained journalists, and the editors and the owners and all the rest, they're so uncreative. I mean, changing the name of the Chicago Tribune, leaving it there in Chicago, and changing it to the American Tribune, for example, there's an idea. Changing it to the American Tribune and making it and calling it America's newspaper, which is what USA Today tried to do, although they just too sloppy about it. But the Tribune has real writers there, and they're kind of middle of the road guys. They're not like a bunch of liberals from the New York Times. They're not a bunch of woke. It's not woke yet. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, it's not a woke newspaper, so that's a plus. And getting it national distribution, getting some web action. There's people that know how to do that better than the New York Times does, although not that much better. And changing the narrative to America's newspaper as opposed to the New York Times, which is America's newspaper. I can see on the street, on my street here, you see the woke people with the little, it's always wrapped in blue, shows up in the morning, the New York Times, they print it locally. Anyone could do this. They print the paper locally in San Rafael, as a matter of fact, and I believe.
Is it wrapped in blue because it's pornographic?
It's wrapped in blue and thrown on the driveway so you can identify the local wokes.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure, because when you see it's a marketing trick. Look.
Yes, it's woke wrapped for your convenience.
You see the San Francisco Chronicle, which it competes against, even though the Chronicle runs a bunch of syndicated stuff from the New York Times. But you just see the Chronicle, and you see the white into whatever wrapper it's in. Or no wrapper, and then you see the woke paper, and you see this like a marketing trick. The other thing they can do, which is something every time somebody tries to do this, they get bought out by somebody else or something weird happens, which is create a news service other than the Associated Press, Reuters, the New York Times Syndicate, and the Washington Post Syndicate. And the Times and the Post, the syndication goes all over the place. All the local papers are running their stories instead of local stories, which is what this redo of these papers will be. And meanwhile, you can create one of these. You've got enough people there to create a news service that would be AT instead of AP, and maybe even by United Press International, which comes and goes as a viable news service. You could compete if you had anything going on in your brain, but they don't even think in these terms, and so it's just going to go by the wayside. Chicago is going to be another outpost for the New York Times woke folk.
Hold on a second. I'm calling Will Hurst. Hey, Will, John knows how to fix it. Line 2.
Exit. In fact, I do. You can play part 2 of this.
Yeah, so there's a lot of money in Chicago. I was looking over, just as you were, Boeing, Walgreens, McDonald's, other major corporations and executives who have had a lot of money from there. They didn't do it. I think there's a couple of things going on, one of which is the Chicago Tribune has had a couple people who did come forward. Sam Zell, the Chicago real estate magnate, he loaded up the Tribune with about $13 billion of debt, and it ultimately went into bankruptcy. And Michael Farrow came through, a hugely wealthy wealthy tech entrepreneur, and he was essentially run out of town. His ideas were derided and proved fairly unworkable. And also he got entangled in scandal over accusations that he had sexually harassed some female business associates.
Ruh-roh.
You know, in talking with folks who have been involved in Chicago, the philanthropic world as well, there's the concern that the Tribune, which has been kind of the voice of responsible republicanism for Illinois, has not been embraced by the kind of Chicago's more progressive philanthropic community. But folks in the MacArthur Foundation, which happens to support places like NPR, they didn't step forward. They're based in Chicago. You've got the McCormick Foundation. It didn't step forward. I think they look at scants at this. They look at local news business and say, we're not sure. But I also think there was a failure of imagination to think of how many millions of people, ultimately how many tens of millions of people could have been aided by thinking about this in a slightly more broad way. That is, the entire system could have been delivered to a place without the pressures that the new owners will almost certainly put those properties under.
I got an email from a friend who works at the Trib who's not happy. And in speaking of Alden, he said, it's not as if they don't have a track record.
These papers, while greatly diminished from what each of them were at their heyday, are already operating about 10 to 13% profit margins. Alden has conveyed to Tribune officials they want those profits above, notably above 20%. That's a huge difference. And they have instituted layer after layer of cuts, eviscerating some newsrooms, deeply damaging others. I've talked to journalists from coast to coast who have worked for Alden-owned newspapers who give me the same story time and again. And so I think there's a real fear that ultimately it won't just damage the ability of the Tribune papers to cover the news, but that it could essentially fatally undermine it. It could unravel these things as anything more than famous brands.
Now, I have a few questions. This Alden Capital hedge fund, are they the kind of guys that would do a leveraged buyout and then rip the pension fund out, which has got to be massive?
Oh, yes, for sure.
So maybe this is even better than ransomware. Just let some hedge fund douchebags come in and really ruin it. Didn't that happen to the Atlantic magazine? Let them come in, let the rich douchebags come in and ruin it. And another question, is it so ethical for news to be paid for by philanthropy? And with philanthropy, I don't mean someone who says, wow, man, I really want to support your newspaper. Here's $1 million. I'm talking about big institutions who have all kinds of relationships.
I'd say no.
Thank you. Because these NPR guys are talking like, oh, come on, philanthropists. They're progressive here.
Give us free money.
Yeah, that's basically. Why don't you produce something
give us
that
free
people
money? We'll say what you want.
Make a product that people are interested in. How about that crazy idea?
Well, that's the thing that's been dropped from the equation.
That's not the problem
for years.
That's not the problem.
For years, I've been wondering, what are you guys? You cheapen the product and expect people to buy it?
Exactly.
You make it a shoddy. That's what all the newspapers have done. You make it a shoddy, useless product that just spews propaganda and subscribes to the New York Times syndicate feed and just replays those articles from them, and you expect people to buy it? No.
And you're surprised at who shows up to buy?
Nobody shows up because it's junk.
Yeah, it's junk, people. All right, let's go down under. We need an update on the mouse plague in Australia.
There are concerns this morning the mouse plague wreaking havoc across New South Wales could soon arrive in Sydney. The Daily Telegraph reports the rodents have already made their way into the city on trucks carrying food. The state government has just announced 5,000 litres of the world's strongest mice killer will be distributed to farmers once it passes approval.
No surprise, we've received a number of notes from producers, and the plagues are not uncommon in Australia. In fact, there's an entire fence called the border fence, which goes straight across the country to protect the sheep in the south, I believe, from the dingoes. It's also known as the dingo fence. And they've had rabbit plagues, which also do not get through that fence. And I have two notes to share. One is from producer Chris in the Morning Adam. Quick note about the Australian mouse plague you touched on. These happen every few years. It's not so uncommon. Rural media covers them, but the city-centric mainstream doesn't bother covering them as they don't affect people living there until now. The New South Wales plague seems to be spreading into Canberra, and we just heard Sydney, where all the politicians are, which is why it seems to be getting media attention. Yeah, a little different. I was living in remote areas of South Australia between 2009 and 2012 and went through 2 mouse plagues. They suck. Literally, millions of mice appear out of nowhere and eat everything over a period of weeks or months. Farmers spend millions on baits to protect their crops, but they generally lose more than they save. The only thing that slows the plague is either a hot summer, so they all die from the heat, or a decent winter, as enough of them freeze that it halts the population explosion. It's tiring to have to constantly clean so your house doesn't stink of mouse excrement. Waking in the middle of the night to find 50 having a party on your kitchen bench. Having to store everything in edible, airtight containers so everything edible in airtight containers so mice can't get to it. Driving along roads at night thinking leaves are blowing across the road. But no, you're running down hundreds of mice. In a single in a single water trap, I was catching around 100 a day. It's extremely stressful, but there's nothing anyone can do. Thank you for your courage, Chris. Well, I disagree, and so does Sir Captain Morgan, also from Australia, who says, short note, I had relatives in the outback during a previous mice outbreak. They used a homemade flamethrower to control them. Thanks, Sir Captain Morgan. We need pictures. We need pictures. We need pictures of the flamethrower to send to this woman from PETA, the People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, who are very angry about the mice.
Yeah, so one of your bigger suggestions, I understand, is catch and release. Is that right?
Capture and release.
It is. That is our most common advice when it comes to rodent control. Of course, here at PETA, we are realists. We know what's going to happen. And let me be clear, what we are angry about is that this situation is not something that's just come up out of nowhere. It is something that should have been taken care of by the government a long time ago. Humane controls like humane trapping and birth control should have been put in place months ago, in fact, ages ago by the government, in order to keep this situation under control.
Good old PETA, always showing up on the scene.
What a bunch of douches. How
really
about feral cats?
Yeah, you need a lot of them. Well, there's snakes.
Yeah, a million.
The snakes are now coming. They have snakes, of course. They have lots of snakes in Australia. The snakes will help. But I see, there's videos, John, they're like a kiddie pool, and they fill it up with water, and they have a container, a shipping container, that has kind of tilted up so it's a ramp. So the mice come in, they have some food in the container. The mice run up the floor of the container, boop, right over the edge into the kiddie pool. Bro, it's like 100 a second. Just pooping mice.
We have film producers out there. Let's make a good horror movie about this. I've never seen anything quite. I mean, a real or about documentary.
Yeah,
you don't need the horror hell with the fiction part. Do a documentary. I want to see that documentary about this.
I really want.
There's got to be a documentary about this.
I want footage of a car driving over these hundreds of mice because they're just blanketing the road.
Thousands of mice if they're crawling across the road.
It's fantastic. So exciting. Exciting.
Gross. This is the grossest segment we've ever done.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been teased enough. John has teased it in the newsletter. It's time to talk about UFOs and the coming invasion.
You're going to have to go to the last week's clip list because it's on there. I don't have them on this week.
Well, while you're doing that, I shall play one clip.
Before you play anything, I want to say that this morning I did watch a little TV to see what was going on. And on one of the stations, I think it was CBS, not Good Morning America, but Face the Nation, they were talking about it, about this UFO thing. And they had these two experts, and all you hear is the same thing from every one of them. Well, these are phenomenons that we don't fully understand, and there's a lot of them, and there's a lot more now than there used to be, and this and that, and they just have these generalities, and the other guys, you're a Marine pilot, did you see well, I never got to see anything like that, but, you have heard about it, and, there seems to be more of this phenomenon. Nobody ever brings up Philip Corso. Nobody brings up any of the guys that remember. Of
course not.
Remember a couple of years ago when there's all those experts that worked at NASA and everything. They went up and did a big press conference in some place.
Yeah.
And they're all military guys, and they all had stories to tell. And remember, those guys, they don't bring them on.
Remember the guys who explained how the television footage worked, even though the telemetry data was gone.
Yeah,
all this, it's all gone. Yeah, and we know that. What is happening now is all Navy footage. It's not actually footage. You're seeing footage of a sensor. Nemesis is the
radar
sensor projection technology. It could be just testing. It could be messing around.
It could.
Yes.
There was a report recently, we didn't discuss it on the show, about these new ways to spoof radar.
No, we did. This is exactly what I talked about on the show 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, spoof radar and make it look like there's something there and there's nothing there. It's just bull crap.
Make it look like the entire fleet has shown up in the South China Sea, or something in the sky, or something you can see by. And all of these Navy pilots, it's declassified, no problem. You can talk about it. We heard Trump, there's supposed to be a big report coming, still kind of waiting for it.
A couple of weeks.
They're releasing little bits of video. The
It's going to be bogus.
Of course it's bogus, but it's fun because it has a whole history in the United States, particularly with presidents, and that's why it's been hyped up a little bit. I
think there's a movie coming out.
I want to get to that in a moment. Here's Cheryl Atkinson, who was talking with Ira... what's his face? Producer of 60 Minutes, who did a piece with Jimmy Carter. And well, here it is.
What's the story about President Carter and the UFO files?
So I asked, when I had done the first interview with Mike Wallace with Jimmy Carter after he left the White House. And I said to him, Mr. President, I always wanted to know why you never released the UFO files, which you said in an article, I think it was in Rolling Stone, that you would do. And he said, I tried. And I said, what do you mean you tried? He said, well, I called the CIA director, had him come to the White House, and I said, I want the file on the UFOs to be released. And the CIA director said, sorry, we're not going to release them to you. You're basically a civilian, and you're here for a temporary period of time, and you don't have access to them. And, Jimmy Carter at that point was trying to learn his way around the White House and didn't push the matter, didn't realize how much power he ultimately had. And he gave it up, is what he said. And the CIA director was George Bush.
Wow.
I like the wow.
Well, that obviously had to be an ISO. I mean, how could you not pull that?
Wow.
All right, listen to it.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, if you want to do a quick ISO rundown before we finish this.
No, let's stay on this. This is you've been teasing this. So we're doing UFOs, not ISOs.
Okay, go on.
Well, no, you teased this in the clip. You got you.
Oh, I thought you had more material from Cheryl.
I'm waiting for everything from you.
Okay. Well, you've got they suck. I think this whole thing is this. You suggested something of a scam.
Well, let's show how much it sucks.
Let's go to the three from CBS. These are, I believe, 60 Minutes.
I have them. Yep.
UFO Dietrich Fravor 1.
In 2004, they witnessed something shocking, inexplicable, and seemingly out of this world. Did the thought of UFO enter your minds?
It was unidentified, and that's why it was so unsettling to us, because we weren't expecting it, because we couldn't classify it. But what I want to be really careful of here is that we don't jump to conclusions, right? That we don't sensationalize this or...
Little green men?
Little green men or extraterrestrial.
Yeah. You're seeing something that defies explanation.
Right.
Very much.
Yes.
It was November 2004, and the USS Nimitz Carrier Strike Group was training about 100 miles southwest of San Diego. The advanced new radar on a nearby ship, the USS Princeton, had detected what operators called multiple anomalous aerial vehicles over the horizon, descending 80,000 feet in less than a second. Fravor and Dietrich, each with a weapons system officer in the back seat, were ordered to investigate and found an area of whitewater in an otherwise calm blue sea. It appeared to them that an object about the size of a 737 was just under the water.
So, as we're looking at this, her backseater says, "Hey, Skipper, do you?" And about that got out, I said, "Dude, do you see that thing down there?" And we saw this little white tic-tac looking object, and it's just kind of moving above the whitewater area.
Do you ever drop your phone and it sort of bounces off the countertop and then bounces off something else, and it's sort of like no predictable movement, no predictable trajectory?
Yeah.
Yes, it was just
like a ping pong ball.
No acceleration.
Very, very random.
Acceleration.
As Dietrich circled above, Fravor went in for a closer look.
Oh, my God. This is excruciating. You're right. They got nothing. They got nothing.
Well, they're trying to give an eyewitness report of one of the saucers or vehicles that comes in and out of the water.
The guy the former pilot who now consults on UFO documentaries. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, let's finish this second clip.
He's an entertainment executive is what he is. But okay, I love that CBS spends so much time on it.
So you're sort of
60 minutes nonetheless.
The tic-tac's still pointing north-south. It goes and just turns abruptly and starts mirroring me. So as I'm coming down, it starts coming up.
So it's mimicking your moves.
Yeah, it was aware we were there. You want to see how close I can get. So I go like this, and it's climbing still. And when it gets right in front of me, it just disappears. Disappears. Like gone.
And you saw no visible propulsion, no wings or anything to make it fly in our atmosphere?
No, actually, when it turned and started coming up, it was kind of like, okay, because we have nothing that goes that fast and just starts climbing at will.
Now, question. What is the protocol here? Shouldn't they have blasted that shit out of the sky? We just let that fly around? Shouldn't there be
lock? I think I may be mistaken, but I think in this case they weren't armed.
Oh, I never heard if only we were armed. I mean,
I think at the beginning they mentioned it. I believe.
There's so many
you think you just lock and shoot.
So many holes in this. Yeah, why don't you go fly around with your Cessna? Go fly around and don't heed anything. Mm-hmm.
Seconds later, the Princeton reacquired the target 60 miles away.
So in a matter
like that.
Yeah, it just appeared there. Mm-hmm.
In seconds.
Yeah.
It was 60 miles away.
Mm-hmm.
Later, another flight crew encountered what they believed to be the same object and briefly locked onto it with a targeting camera before it zipped off again.
They didn't get a visual on it, but they did get this FLIR footage, the forward-looking infrared.
So you've got the infrared image,
right. Yes,
and your eyesight,
yes,
and the Princeton,
the radar,
all saying there is something out there.
Yes.
The Princeton had been tracking the anomalous objects for days. Dietrich says they were unarmed.
I felt
there it is.
The vulnerability of not having anything to defend ourselves, to not having any rounds, anything on the rails. If this was, in fact, a hostile threat, and we were engaged, I felt vulnerable, and then I felt confused when it disappeared.
Dietrich says she briefed superiors about what they all saw. In no time, the story of their encounter spread quickly.
Rumors like that spread within seconds. I would say with less than 30 minutes, the entire ship knew this happened.
And what was the reception like?
I actually thought it was kind of funny and started giving us a lot of grief.
Ridicule.
Yeah.
Ridicule.
Yeah.
Yeah. They made cartoons, and on the ship's TV, they played Men in Black and Independence Day.
I'm a Navy pilot.
They made fun of it.
Buck up, soldier. Hey, when was it declassified? Go ahead and talk about it. Did they mention that? And who declassified it?
Play part 3.
Okay.
Did anybody take it seriously?
Yeah, I believe the Admiral staff made a few phone calls, but that was the extent of it.
Christopher Mellon served as Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence for Presidents Clinton and George W. Bush, and was on the staff of the Senate Intelligence Committee. He had access to top-secret government programs. He says what Dietrich and Fravor witnessed demonstrated technological capabilities beyond those of the U.S. military's most advanced aircraft.
In the case of the Nimitz, these vehicles seem to have unlimited loiter time, which we don't have. We're limited in terms of altitude. It's hard to design something that functions well at ground level that can go, to 60,000 or 80,000 feet.
And then drop.
And then drop down to the deck or drop to 20,000 feet and it's like a straight vertical line.
In seconds.
Yeah, in seconds.
And this has been captured on radar.
Yeah.
This style of interviewing is also super annoying because the guy clearly knows exactly everything. And in seconds, right? It wasn't on radar, right? You had no ammo, right?
I hate that kind of interviewing. where you know everything,
yeah,
but you're acting like you don't.
And it's only
insincere.
It makes you,
and it comes across as insincere.
And I think he's only doing it so he sounds smart. Oh yeah, right. Let me finish. It's not quite done yet. Your clip is not over.
Sorry.
Seconds.
And this has been captured on radar.
Yeah.
I've talked to some of the radar operators who observe that.
Yeah.
Then the acceleration is far beyond anything that we're capable of.
Correct. What's the fastest one of our jets can go?
Probably for a very brief period of time, 1,500 or 2,000 miles an hour. Nothing near the degree of acceleration that has been observed in some of these cases. There's nothing we could build that would be strong enough to endure that amount of force and acceleration.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. They've given us a 60 minutes of aviation technology. Thanks.
Now, a couple of things to note. If you go, and just because they're going to bring out these reports, if you go to the CIA search engine at CIA.gov, there's a search engine of all these documents that they have. Actually, there's a couple in there. This is years ago, I went in and looked up UFOs, and they have all the reports. And they talk about little green men and guys showing up, and the cop going there and getting zapped. Where you, I can't remember anything. They go on, and they have all these reports. It's all there to read.
Yeah.
And you can go look them up yourself, and they don't come to any conclusions. But they have all the reports, and they're 10 times more interesting than this crap about these fast-looking little nuggets flying around at high speeds, which could be going in and out of dimensions. Who knows what the technology or the gravity engine. It's just, there's something fake. This whole thing, there is something which you identified, I think, before I did. There's something phony about this whole presentation, this entire discussion, and I'm now totally convinced it's a movie.
Well, if it's a movie, which I am, that's kind of our theory on the show, or these types of stories pop up for a reason. It would probably follow along the lines of Project Bluebeam, which we've discussed for over a decade, and I will give you the main steps of Project Bluebeam and what it is for. And this is a conspiracy theory, so I'm speaking to you as a conspiracy therapist.
Wugga wugga. What is that term for you? The Dutch term?
A Wappie.
A Wappie. You're a Wappie.
I'm a Wappie. Wappie report. Hey, everybody, Wappie report. The entire idea is to bring in one religion. People will believe in something much bigger than them. This is the whole concept behind Project Bluebeam, and it works with film. It works in the following ways. First, break down all aspects of historical knowledge, archaeological knowledge. Of course, we've had lots of artifacts destroyed with wars and taken down and blown up, and that's happened in the past 10, 20 years. But also falsifying for people's minds. Have kids seen more History Channel about archaeological knowledge and where we come from, or have they seen E.T., Star Wars, Star Trek, and of course the motherlode Jurassic Park, which changes the theory of evolution?
Well, hold on a second. I watch these things on the History Channel, and I think you're downplaying what they're really getting presented with, which is alien architecture. There's just more than a few of those shows, not the movies, the fictional movies, but more of the shows playing it as fact that aliens built the pyramids, or there was this, or the pyramids, the Great Pyramids of Giza were landing places for the saucers. And they go on they have all these, there's always the same guys. One guy with the weird hairdo and just 5 or 6 of these characters that come on, and they're ancient alien astronaut something or others. Yeah.
Okay. So, well, thank you. You accentuated my point. Second, you've got to have the gigantic show in space. So, and this is now starting with, we've got all kinds of things falling out of the sky. We've got asteroids. We've got crazy northern lights popping up. We've got space wars probably. And now we have these things that are showing up. We're not, some people see stuff on their cameras. That's, the whole idea is to bring something that people go, holy shit, there's something out there. There's something bigger. And this CBS 60 Minutes helps that. It gives credibility to to all the Wappie stuff that is out there, because you're going to believe that much quicker if you know that, hey, man, the Navy said the Tic Tac is real. Now, the third step in Project Bluebeam, and this is all over the internet, you can find this, is either ELF, VLF, or LF frequencies to beam into people's brains. This is where I think 5G comes in, or G5, to make people believe that what they're seeing is godly and that it is speaking to their own soul. And once that's done, you've got your new world order. Now, is this likely to happen? No, but could there be a movie like this that pulls these pieces together? Yeah. Have we seen it yet? Do we know what's happening? Is it out there?
Well, because Hollywood's such a mess right now.
Oh, yeah.
The normal way the movies are rolled out, the way they're teased, the way they show up in the trades for casting and for other things, it's a mess. I can't find the movie. Doesn't mean there's not one in production.
Well, if there is, we have people in Hollywood who might be able to find out. Now, the only other thing I'm hearing a lot of chatter about from people who would be involved in either a film or in some kind of hoax is 99942 Apophis. This is the asteroid that is supposed to kill us in 2029. This has been around for a long time. It came close in 2004. This thing is astronomical. And we've had so many asteroid movies that I really don't think...
No, we don't need another... No, the asteroid movies are not good.
No.
I don't think there's ever been a huge hit. It's just corny.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, yeah. I mean, if anything, it may be used to keep us to lock down. Hey, there's stuff falling out of the sky. Tic Tacs from the sky. Stay home. Lockdown. Maybe.
Well, I think we're going to have to revisit this after the report comes out in 2 weeks.
Yeah. And
because I'm sure the report's going to be a piece of junk that is going to be useless to everyone, but definitely worth reviewing.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
And in fact, we do have a few people to thank for what is it, show 1349. Yeah, we're getting moving along.
We are.
Let's start with who's on the top of this list today. Jason, is it
Pangari? Pangari, I think.
And I think so. 134.80.
And he says he didn't realize how big of a douchebag he is. He needs a de-douching. We'll do that.
You've been de-douched.
Sir Verms in Phoenix, Oregon?
Yes.
123.45.
And the only reason he checked in is he's reporting in for the biweekly M5M deconstruction. He's already at the round table, and he wants to welcome the new knights coming in today with a nice flask of Estus Plus 15. So that has been ordered. It is here waiting.
I don't even know what that is.
It looks great. The packaging is fantastic. It's dynamite.
What is it?
Well, I think
it's a beer?
It's a drink.
It's a drink?
Yeah, it looks like a whiskey.
Could be. Ian Field in Eastleigh, Hampshire, UK, 100. Susan Beals in Escondido, California, 100. William Elliott in Aiea, Hawaii, 100. David Wicker, 99.33, and he's got a douchebag call out. He's also Roganite. Says, I haven't missed your show since August. Nate Marrer is an A+ douchebag. And shout out to Widespread Panic for getting it back on the road. Okay, band. Good band. Sir Herb Lamb, Duke of the Deep South, in Sugar Hill, Georgia, 8008.
And he says that he donated because John needs to keep drinking that V8 energy. It might have been the best show ever. I'm telling you, the V8 energy is the way to go. It's basically a ground-up celery stick with the Red Bull, right?
Yes, what it seems like. It's what it tastes like.
Get more.
Edward Posh in Omaha, Nebraska, 6018.
Happy birthday and wedding anniversary. Also a wedding anniversary donation for his cruel and captivating keeper, Helen Bayan Posh. He says, how lucky I am to have her because she reminds me all the time about it. Mm-hmm.
Yes. It's like an alarm clock. David Pete in Decatur, Texas, 55. Brandon Thrasher in Birmingham, Alabama. 50-50. He does need a de-douching.
Got it.
You've been de-douched.
No, that was 50-50. It's Forrest Martin with 50-05. Sir Andrew Benz in Imperial, Missouri, 50-05. And the following people, this is a short list today. Should remind everybody we can use more donations. Kevin Silverman in Severn, Maryland, $50. Daniel LeBoy, Sir Daniel in Bath, Michigan. Alexa Delgado in Aptos, California. Dixon Craig in St. Albert, Alberta. Who's this? Is this Dixon Craig that says found you through Gitmo Live here in Canada?
Gitmo.life. That's one of the social networks that federates with the Mastodon.
Oh, okay.
Gitmo.life, not live, but life.
It says live there.
I know, but it's life.
Sir Patrick Maycom in New York City. Jason Wright in Fort St. John, BC. That's right near Spuzzum. Craig Zarzicki in Sarasota Springs, New York. Matthew Grice, 50. Julian Robbins in Aptos, California, 50. Lucas Deaton in Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah.
This is Dame Knight in Edmonds, Washington. And that concludes our list of producers and well-wishers for show 1349.
Yes, and we appreciate everyone who came in under $50. That's always what is the term I'm looking for? That's the cutoff. The cutoff where we do not read notes or names. That's where people can definitely stay anonymous. Also, that's where people with the sustaining donations come in, which we appreciate so much. These are lower amounts, but they're regular. It's 1111s, 33s. We've got 3333s, 42s, a ton of just insane numbers. It's all numerology, but it does provide a base for, when we have less notes and slower days. Please consider doing one of those subscriptions or supporting us any way you want at the No Agenda Show. Go to this website address.
Dvorak.org/NA.
A little goat karma for anyone who needs it. Haven't had the goat today.
You've got karma.
Yeah, I also want to read a note before we go into the...
I'm sorry, you interrupting the flow?
It did.
Go ahead.
It's too late now.
No, read your note.
Dear John and Adam, in the morning, love the show. Thank you both for your essential humor. Shout out to the something. David for hitting me in the mouth. Oh, David. 2 years ago, please de-douche me. And he said de-douching. He was on the list. This is Sam.
Does it need a de-douching or not?
Yeah, give him a de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
John, thank you for your wordsmithing and your journalistic BS callouts. It's very important to know the difference between reporting and commentating. Speaking of opinions, please see the WSJ.com for the Sierra Club's latest doings. Interesting. And then that is from Sam, who came in with $244.44 at some time. I think there's a make good note. So that is that, and you may continue with the jingle. Sorry.
It's your birthday on No Agenda.
And here's your list for today. First, we say happy birthday to Sir Nathan Lee, who celebrated on the 22nd, as did Cameron Beck, who turned 33. Edward Posh says happy birthday to his cruel and captivating keeper, Helen Posh. She celebrates today. And Logan says happy birthday to his wife. He had that beautiful donation note for her, Taylor Counter. She celebrates on the 25th. Happy birthday from everybody here at the best podcast in the universe.
It's your birthday, yeah.
And we've got, Sir Daniels becomes Does he go straight to Baron? Or that's a title. We don't have any knights. We only have titles. No, how can that be?
Huh. Oh, we had one knighting in the list.
Well, no, because that's interesting. Hold on a second. Something wrong here with
Was Sir Dude named Ben? Does he get knighted?
No, he becomes a my own, a Sir Dude named Ben. Ben.
So
this is
we also have Sir Daniels. He's already a Sir.
He was already a Sir.
I don't see any on here.
Okay.
Well, here's one. Chris Ryan. You read off the sheet?
No, I don't think so. Where do you see Chris Ryan? Oh, this is an outrage.
Down at the 266.44.
Okay, this is an outrage. I think we have no knights. This is just 266.44.
No. That's why he was.
No, also not. Okay, well then let's do titles.
Well, geez, we're stunned.
Yeah, this is bad. It's horrible.
Don't want to be a douchebag. Title changes.
Yeah. Well, I'm very sorry about that. It's a rare occasion that we don't get someone achieving knighthood. If we mess this up, let us know. So we do have title changers. Sir R. Daniels back in the saddle with his own businesses now. He becomes a baron, and Sir Dude named Ben becomes the Ben Defender of My Watts Baronet of the Electrical Grid. I have a feeling he was already Sir Dude named Ben, so that brings him up to baronet status. We thank both of these royalties. And I might as well tell you that we do have the nice flask of Estes 15 and the unlimited supply of Bricktucky bourbon and pork roll, egg, and cheese Sammys here. Even though we don't have a knighting ceremony, you're very welcome to it. And thank you both for your courage. Oh, that brings us right to the meetups. Let's do it, biatch. Well, it wouldn't be a party without a couple of meetup reports, as people love to send those in. This is the flight of the No Agenda meetup from the 22nd.
Hi, this is Brian. Cat food in the chat room. Having a great time at the meetup. Thank you, Leo. Thank you, everyone. In the morning.
Boom shakalaka.
Boom shakalaka. In the morning.
Hey, this is Sir Circumstance at the Long Beach meetup. We're just watching wolves walking up back and forth on the sidewalk in the morning.
Hey, here we are in Long Beach. We are so happy to have the crafty little meetup in Long Beach, California. To the morning.
Hey, this is Matt down in Long Beach with Roger and a few other douchebags hanging out, having a great time. Thanks, Leo.
Hey, Daishang, this is Thomas the Engineer on my way to becoming a knight. Great to be here in Long Beach. In the morning. Gracias.
En la mañana. In the morning.
I always wonder if I should recommend people get these recordings at the beginning, the middle, or the end of the meetup. And I think once people are sauced, it kind of falls apart. But
I think the end is the best.
Here's the Kansas City meetup report.
Hey, this is Sir Spencer. We're up in St. Joe at the Felix Street Pub. Sir Bilo is back.
From the apparently audio-only Sausage Fest, this is Matt.
Greetings from Missouri. We're not woke, and we ain't going broke.
Lee's here. Support the show. Senior cash. You will obey.
That's right. You got jacked.
Bilo here, going broke. My only customers are you fuckers.
Special thanks to my wife, Dame DeLorean, for holding in that baby and insisting I attend the meetup. For future KC meetups, keep your eyes on noagendameetups.com.
Yeah, sweet. Nice little promo. Indeed, from
I think they're a little too PBS sounding down there in Missouri.
Oh, we're going to critique the meetup reports? That's cool. I like that.
Okay. That's the last thing. That's the end of that.
I think we should be critiquing meetup reports. Yes. That's what we need. Here's from the meetup calendar at noagendameetups.com for today. The Super Free in Sioux Falls, South Dakota meetup, 3 o'clock at Arrowhead Park. And Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, the Sanitary Salt Air meetup at Hardley's Pub and Grub. It shows up as Florida, but I've been told quite clearly it was South Carolina. Thursday on the 27th, Dame Savage Nashville tour stop, 6 p.m. at Martin's Barbecue Joint. And on Friday, Santa Ynez Valley COVID Survivor Support Group, 6:33 p.m. at Gino's Pizza in Buellton. I think I'm saying that right. Then also on Friday, the K-Town, Knoxville, Tennessee Throwdown at 6:30 at Schutzbrau Brewing. And ahead for rounding out the rest of the month of May, 29th, Rhode Island, Houston, and Amarillo, Texas, and Brisbane, Australia on the 30th for more meetups near you. They are worldwide, and anyone can join. You just come hang out. You bring your positive attitude, your small amygdala. Everything's going to be great. And if you can't find one, go to noagendameetups.com and start one. It's easy, and you'll find they're just like a party.
Sometimes you want to go hang out with all the nights and days. You want to be where you won't be triggered or held to blame. You want to be where everybody feels the same. It's like a party.
All right. Then I do have one last item to do, but first I think we should look at our ISO selections. And you already heard my first one.
Wow.
Which I think is totally a contender. What do you have?
Well, I'm looking for my sheet. Not finding it. I moved it around during this donation.
I can look. Do you have one? No, you have two.
Yeah, look at they all say ISO.
So. I got Pop ISO. Here we go. Okay.
Don't you think that'd be good before WoW?
Yeah, maybe. Hold on. Let's listen to your awfully.
Awfully.
Well, I like the idea of the WoW and the Pop, but I do have one. I do have one late entry.
That's just the tip.
I don't know if you like that one.
No. Okay, I got great achievement.
Hold on. Great achievement.
That is a great achievement.
Huh? End of show? Great achievement?
I'm kind of liking your original idea.
Okay, let's go with laugh.
Okay, hold on. You got a lot today. Where is laugh? Here we go.
Are you ready for a laugh?
Well, I like great achievement the most personally, but I do like the idea of pop followed by wow.
Pop followed by wow? Let me see how that sounds. Hold on a second. So get wow. Okay, the pop. Let me boost the levels a little bit. Okay, this is high end, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
It's so stupid.
Wow.
It's so stupid.
Yeah, I like it. It's so dumb. It's perfect. Yeah, I think we definitely should keep it at that.
Your systems are offline.
You're listening to the No Agenda Morning Zoo on Getmo Radio.
That would be idea.
Butt slam.
You are correct, sir.
In the morning.
All right. So as we continue our new entertainment property, which is the No Agenda Morning Zoo, as we were putting together the cast and the crew of this fantastic product, we did ask for some auditions for the entertainment reporter slot on the crew. And as far as I know, we received exactly one submission.
He sent us to, you're talking about John's.
Yes.
He sent in one just a straight read, which is not that good, but he did produce I think his production was pretty decent. It's right in with the scheme of things. It sounds zooey.
Yep.
And he's got the right style.
I would tighten it up a little bit, and I have a few notes for him, but we're not going to play the whole thing because he did 2.5. And also, your entertainment report has to fit within 1:30. You can't do 2:45. You got to read faster. I mean, that's just, we got commercials to play.
He added a lot. He ad-libbed, which was, I think you should play the whole thing. I think it's worth it.
Hello to all my gays, my theys, every which ways. This is Clay Dunnigan here with your Hollywood update. Jennifer, I just have to say that your hair looks fantastic today, and that blouse really brings out your eyes. Now if we could only do something about Darren O'Neill and his resting dick face. It looks as if J-Lo and her old beau Ben Affleck are starting up again. They've been spotted all over town. Onlookers say they've crossed the friend zone and headed straight into the bone zone. They've been spotted at the Big Sky Resort on Montana, then seen holding hands getting out of a private jet. It looks pretty serious, which is also what my doctor told me when I showed him my scrot after using Manscaped.com products. And of course, we all know that Bennifer would not be doing this just for the publicity. That idea is just crazy. There's no way they could possibly want to star in yet another failed movie together. But the big news this week is all about the Friends reunion that was a decade in the making. And if you're a Gen X shut-in, turn off your Goo Goo Dolls CD because we all know you cannot wait another minute. Every cast member finally agreed after checking their bank accounts and hoping to reignite more than one dead-end career. After all, Jennifer Aniston can't bear the idea of starring in another Adam Sandler or Jim Carrey movie. Pointing in on the action, like my boyfriend's roommate during sex, look for defective Andy Richter clone James Corden, finding his way into the situation.
Excuse me, pardon me.
He's been given exclusive interviews with the cast, and no doubt someone will be forced to sing in his car. More than likely, Aniston and Schwimmer doing a cringy version of Bad Romance by Lady Gaga.
Give it to me.
And finally, in real movie news, the bearded bigot Mel Gibson is back in action with Alicia Cuthbert and the hung and hunky Josh Duhamel in a new action thriller called Bandit. Pew, pew, pew. Expect people to be chasing each other around in cars a lot, as well as boner-inducing brawls. No release date has been set, and future discussions will be all about how racist Republican Mel Gibson still gets work. I think I know. It has something to do with his big mouth and that soft, luscious beard.
Oh, brother.
Anyway, that's your Hollywood update for Tuesday. And Mo, you know all about being hung and hunky, I am sure.
All right. Okay. Here's Here's my thoughts on... Now, first of all, we know that John is not gay, which is a problem because he's the only one who's auditioned for this. This is Fletcher for people who didn't realize it. So I've decided we can try something else. If we just want to cast him, we could make him like he swears that he's straight. Like he just, either that or he's bicurious. We have to come up with an angle because it's just not fair towards other gay actors.
Well, I don't understand why some gay actors haven't stepped up.
They say, I'll put the script in the show notes again.
Okay, I have an alternative idea, which it's not pure zoo.
Okay,
but it does show up a lot in these stupid Hollywood reports.
Mm-hmm.
The pretentious old woman who reviews movies for the local TV station. Usually wears a big hat.
We're not going to have that on the Morning Zoo.
Okay, I just said it was an alternative idea.
What Morning Zoo do you listen to?
Well, I was just finding some way of getting around this.
Hey, my daddy was a beetle.
Well, this is going to become a problem.
Yeah.
We've had to, come on, there's somebody out there.
Yeah. Step up, people. Step up. Save the show with our exit strategy. Don't you want us to be millionaires? Running the Morning Zoo? Commanding the ship? On top 40 stations across the country? Come on.
Yeah, we syndicate it. We can syndicate our zoo.
Syndicated, baby. Westwood One. Here we come.
That's where the money is.
Coming up next on NoAgendaStream.com, we have Hog Story. Also, we have that TikTok Girl for Kids by request for the end of show mixes along with Amish Phil with a little ditty. And Tom Starkweather always brings us the historical lesson. Now includes theremin. And we love that, Tom. So please remember to support us at Dvorak.org/NA. Coming to you from the capital of the Drone Star State, Opportunity Zone 33 to be exact, here in Austin, Texas. FEMA Region 6 on all governmental maps. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where I remain, John C. Dvorak.
Looking forward to Thursday's show. deconstruction always at the ready. Thanks to your time, talent, and treasure. Until then, adios, mofos! And such.
We're gonna get it soon! And then we can play! Yay! I'm so excited! We will get to play together when it's done. The shot! We will get to play together when it's done. The shot! We will get to play together. We will get to play together. We will get to play together when it's done. The shot!
People have got to understand vaccination is going to be, in the end, your route to liberty.
Masking up, washing my hands. This'll be over by Easter. I think the curve is pretty flat now. What gives? All I want is a pint in a pub. Took my chances on an adverse event. Hope I'm not allergic. Got side effects, but now I'm back on my feet. Just a man had his will to get lashed. You see, I got the Pfizer, it's the cream of the crop. No blood clots and no thrombocytopenia. But Boris Johnson's gonna keep us locked up. And what's worse is it's even though I got the Pfizer.
You know, it's just, super painful, but
it's not going to allow us to go completely back to normal.
Building back better.
In the same ballpark as seasonal influenza.
You gotta speak up. Speak up and speak out. It's in all of us. All of us together.
But there is absolutely no evidence the vaccine contains any ingredient that would turn your arm magnetic.
Apparently, Dr. Fauci has told him you can catch this thing through the webcam.
No, you can't. Not unless you get in front of the car as I step on it. I'm only teasing.
What are some of the ways people can make this next chapter even better?
But I don't have the time to go through it all. I just want you to enjoy it over cocktails and dinner this evening.
A once-in-a-lifetime chance to start over.
We actually have every intention to share the complete totality of the counterproposal with you all. We'll just wait for the meeting to conclude to do that.
Silence is complicity.
No one knows if they were really vaccinated or if there was some type of adhesive used to attach the magnet to the skin.
Well, that's just what happens.
That's just the tip.
The best podcast in the universe.
Adios, mofo.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Wow.